be a Jet. I'm like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like
From Connecticut, right?
From Connecticut. I grew up kind of quasi-Jet fan. I was Jet and Giant fan. And I'm like, absolutely. So I'm like, oh, great. First pick of the 5th round. And then all of a sudden, I get a call at it was around 120. Pick 120. It was Carolina Panthers. They had a guy named Don Manili before your time, Brad. And then Bill Polian, who was the GM, and then like, hey, at 122, and I was thrilled, right? My expectation was the 5th round. Got drafted in the 4th round. They were a 3-4 defense back then. There were probably a handful of teams that had the outside rusher.
Yeah.
And I was an edge rusher today, but I was, in our defense, even though we were a 4-3 at Wisconsin, I was always on the edge. And going to a 3-4 was like, man, that's perfect. So I was excited, ecstatic, and Dom Capers got on the phone, and Bill Polian, who's a legend because back then he built the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Then after he kind of built Carolina up, he went to Indianapolis and built that program with Peyton Manning. So it was just a phenomenal time and experience.
So what was the turnaround from getting the phone call you're getting taken to when you had to get to Charlotte? Like, what was the turnaround time for you?
Oh, God. I think it was like a week, 2 weeks.
Okay.
We had our first mini camp, and by the way, it was brutal. I mean, it was warm in the middle of like April when we went there, and it was like 2 days. We didn't have pads on, but it was pretty violent in terms of practice and high tempo. And I'm like, man, this is no joke. So big learn. Even though at Wisconsin we were pretty physical, it was the speed and the whole trying to take in all the defense is very complicated. And a lot went into it, but it took me a little while. But that's
the jump to the next level, though, right? I mean, that's natural.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's Tarek Saleh's draft story. We fast forward 15 years to 2012. For Brad Nortman. Were you the only punter drafted in 2012?
No, I wasn't. That's part of my story.
All right, hit me. What was your story? Day 3.
So I'm going through the pre-draft process, and you always can identify the teams that need a punter, right? It's quite obvious. They got an old aging vet. They literally have a roster absence, right? So there's, you got a list of like 4 teams. These are the teams that are going to go for a punter. You don't know if you're going to get drafted or not. So I had, workouts with the Rams, the Panthers, the Jags. You have contact with these teams. The Jaguars, ironically, were the team that I had most contact with. They were calling me once a week leading up to the draft at least. Yeah,
the team he ended his career with.
Yeah, right. they're buttering me up. Like, do you like to golf, Brad? I'm like, yeah, I like to golf, sir. So I'm like, you'll love it in Jacksonville, all this kind of stuff. I'm thinking the Jags are going to draft me. I'm starting, Jacksonville, Florida. I'm starting to think about Florida vibes. Night 2 of the draft comes, and the Jacksonville Jaguars select Brian Anger.
Oh.
5 picks before Russell Wilson, right? He was the famous punter that was drafted before Russell Wilson. So Friday night, I'm like, okay, the only team that had like real follow-up interest with me, it's over. I'm not going to get drafted. I'm going to be scrambling. My workout with the Rams was great. My workout with the Jaguars was very good. My workout with the Panthers, bad. It was like 35 degrees, sideways wind, 20 mile an hour. We should have just not even been out there. It was impossible to have a good day. And when the coach left, I was like, I'm never seeing them again. Like, no chance.
So, did you talk to them a lot, or was it just
it was radio silence from when a lot of times the teams will text you and say, "Hey, is this still your number?" Blah blah blah. Just whatever. So anyway, I'm bumming Friday night. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get drafted. I'm going to have to figure out how to get on a team on restricted or a free agent situation. So in an effort to distract me on draft day, the 3rd day, like, my parents and family and Lexi, like, we had all this stuff planned, right? Like, we did, like, Sprecher Brewery tour in the morning. We went out to lunch. Like, we did a bunch of stuff to, like, okay, let's not make this day so long. We're not just going to sit by the phone. We ended up at my parents' house and just hanging out. We had some people over, family and family friends. And I get a call from my agent. And it's like, early 6th round. He said, hey, make sure you're by your phone. The Rams are going to draft you if the Panthers don't already.
Oh,
and I'm like, okay, shoot. So I go and sit down by my phone, and we're watching the draft. And sure enough, I see the phone vibrate. I can see it, like, in my mind's eye right now. 704 area code, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, boy.
And it's, are you ready to be a Panther, son? We're going to pick you. And the explosion of cheers, and just a whirlwind, right? An absolute whirlwind. And then, as you were talking about, this is what no one tells these draft picks tonight. Yeah. It's a long senior season. It's a long process to get to the draft. And then the draft feels like an ending of sorts, right? It feels like, okay, I can finally just like relax. I know where I'm going. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I need to hit the reset button because I have just entered a whole new world. And you have to not let up. You better put your foot on the pedal. You better keep going. So when I showed up in Charlotte, it was like, okay, now time to compete for a job. When I checked into the hotel, so it's okay, Holiday Inn downtown. Okay, yes, I see you, Mr. Nortman. You're checking in. I see you're staying for 45 nights. And I was like, whoa, 45 nights. This is crazy. So it is only the beginning for these men tonight. And that's why the rookie burnout, when you get to Thanksgiving, is a real thing. Because not only is it a long season, but it is the culmination of like 18 months to just get to that point.
Yeah, because you're going from your season, your bowl game, assuming you play in the bowl game.
To likely even like another bowl game, like Senior Bowl.
Senior Bowl. Yeah, and then you got your workouts. You crush it to get to that timing day, whether you're in the combine or not. And then you get in the draft deal, and then you're in mini camps, OTAs, you got workouts, and you got maybe like 2 weeks in July to gather yourself, and then you're in hell.
It doesn't stop. And by midway through the season, you're so mentally and physically exhausted. So that's why, I mean, rookies, when a rookie comes in and does well, it is otherworldly because there's no reason he should do well.
No question.
Everything is stacked against him.
So you're up, I mean, essentially you're up at 6 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
From whenever, I mean, basically the middle of April to December, and the kids usually sleep in a little bit, at least at 8 o'clock. I mean, then you go to work. You still get a 6-hour day of football and working out and all this stuff, and you're in meetings. But now you're in it for like 12 hours on certain days.
Yeah.
I mean, and you got to be a student of the game. You got to pick up everything, and it's just never ending. And you're getting your ass kicked really if you're not, unless you're just like some stud.
Freak of nature, right?
Yeah. And that's where I'm sure you feel the same way. I know, like my first practice, my first real game in the NFL when I'm on the sideline, I couldn't believe how fast everybody was. I couldn't believe how hard the hits were. I went to the Bucs game versus the Heat, and we had pretty good seats. You see it on TV that these guys are athletic and they're good. Man, when you see them in person, it's really something else. These guys, that's NBA, of course, different from NFL, but that's just these guys that are getting drafted tonight. They should celebrate. They should enjoy it, but they are in for it for a whole nother gear. This is only the beginning, which is exciting and scary all at the same time.
Awesome stories from both of you. Appreciate you both sharing that. Tarek Saleh, Brad Nortman, Alex Strouf with you. It is the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. $10 pitchers here tonight if you want to come on out. Got a little over a half an hour until the draft kicks off with both of the teams, or both of these guys were drafted by the team that picks number 1 tonight, the Carolina Panthers, who traded up with the Chicago Bears a couple months back now for that number 1 pick. Chicago moves back to pick number 9. So just to run you through the top 5 picks real quick. Carolina goes number 1. They'll likely take Bryce Young. Houston picks number 2, which is where things get a little bit interesting because they also hang on to pick number 12. Right, so they could go Will Anderson, who's a unanimous, the top defender in this draft, the outside linebacker from Alabama, and a lot of people think maybe Will Anderson goes 2, and the Texans would think about quarterback later at pick number 12 because they have Davis Mills, but could a guy like Anthony Richardson fall to number 12? So that's an interesting dilemma that the Texans are in with both picks 2 and 12. Pick number 3 currently. I say currently for a reason, belongs to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, reports have come out within the last 90 minutes. The the Arizona Cardinals and the Tennessee Titans, who hang on to pick number 11, are in talks for a deal for wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, which would send both Hopkins and pick number 3 to Tennessee in exchange for pick number 11, which makes no sense to me at all. I know he has a big contract, but they're also going to get rid of pick number 3. I imagine there might be a first-round pick tied into that next year. Nothing official yet, but that is what's on the table right now, as the Cardinals are in talks with Tennessee for pick number 3, as well as the wide receiver currently on Arizona's roster, DeAndre Hopkins. Indianapolis holds on to pick number 4. They'll likely go quarterback, and Seattle pick number 5 with that deal for Russell Wilson a year ago. They hang on to Denver's first-round pick from this year. So Seattle, who had a really nice year with Geno Smith, hangs on to pick number 5 because they traded Russell Wilson. So those are your top 5 picks coming up in about a half an hour on ESPN, as well as you can hear every pick broken down right here on the Great Dane Huddle. When we return, we talk about the Packers trading Aaron Rodgers and moving up 2 spots in this year's draft. That's all next as we get Brad Nortman and Tarek Saleh's reaction on the Aaron Rodgers trade right here on the Great Dane Huddle.
Reaction to the football weekend continues. This is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
What shall we do with the broke propeller? What shall we do with the broke propeller? Don't look at me, I wasn't driving. Thank you, you're not helping. I don't even know why you bought this boat. You told me that you loved this boat. That was before you wrecked the boat. Well, now you've made it awkward.
Accidents don't just happen in sea shanties, so Progressive Boat Insurance has you covered. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you can save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms and not available for all boats or in all situations.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of the Big Win and Madison Casino Guru, is transforming guests into winners. Making an ordinary day into a big win day is easy with a 95% average payout. And with over 140 daily jackpots, the number of people winning has never been bigger. So what are you waiting for? Escape to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison for your next big win.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Forward Madison FC has kicked off its 2023 season at Breeze Stevens Field. The Flamingos' next USL League One match is on Saturday, April 29th at 5 p.m. against Charlotte Independence. April 29th is also Star Wars night at Breeze Stevens Field, complete with a lightsaber ticket package and even a costume contest at halftime. To purchase tickets, head to ForwardMadisonFC.com. Forward Madison, fun for all.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
I'm at a place trying to go home. More of my change I spent on you. Where have the times gone, baby? It's so
Special draft edition of the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. Alex Strouf, Brad Nortman, Tarek Saleh with you until 10 o'clock tonight. Before we dive in a little bit to this Aaron Rodgers trade and everything that's gone on with the Packers and Jets this week, I got to tell you about my friends over at Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. Diamond Jim, the owner of the store, is always in the store 7 days a week, ready to hook you up, whether you're looking to take the next step in your relationship, whether you're looking to treat yourself. He's got a bunch of watches, Citizen, Rolex, you name it, he's got it in store. He's ready to help you. You can also go online, CondonJeweler.com, CondonJeweler.com, or visit Condon Jewelers on the east side of Madison next to Office Depot, across from the East Town Mall. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. 2 words from each of you, fellas. Reaction to Aaron Rodgers. Keep it FCC appropriate, Tarek. 2 words. Aaron Rodgers traded to the New York Jets. Your reaction in 2 words. Wow, this is good.
Necessary move.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that. Brad Nortman, 2 words?
This isn't meant to sound sarcastic, but thanks, bye. Seriously, I mean, like, it's worth it for, like, the thank you for all the great years.
Yeah.
But, like, see ya.
Mine's in the same realm. I would say finally done.
Okay,
finally done. And I love Aaron Rodgers. You guys both know, I've been talking about this for months. I did not want the Packers to trade Aaron Rodgers. I love winning. I'm a Packers fan. I think he gives you the best chance to win. But it's finally done.
It's a really difficult thing because he is, a top 10 quarterback in the league right now. It's safe to say. We don't have to argue that. And, I think back to draft night, whatever it was, 4 years ago, I knew that was a big mistake when they went and got Love. And, coming off, I think, an NFC championship loss, and they trade basically what was amounted to a first-round pick because Love wasn't going to be a benefit to you. And they traded a fourth-round pick, and you're sitting there, and everyone's argument was that Aaron was offended that he's going to have to compete, and it wasn't the case. He was offended because we weren't building a championship team.
Absolutely.
And that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I hope Love turns out the right way, but I don't think that he had the sometimes you have to have the buy-in, right? And he didn't have the buy-in, and you want everybody to be in, and he wasn't in after that. I think in the end, he just kind of off-season. He was away. He should have been here last year season. But, after a while, so originally, I felt more on his side, but eventually you either got to buy in or not, right?
Yeah.
And so then I got tired of it, and I'm like, good riddance.
You're turning into Jim Rutledge before you know it, Tarek.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
But I think everybody felt that way. Like, we're tired of the whining and all this stuff. And we all in our own jobs have things that don't go our way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, we give you everything benefit of the doubt and give you all this. But now it's time you got to turn the page eventually, or you just be a cancer to the organization.
Yeah, and, looking at the compensation they got, right, they hang on to – so they move up 2 picks tonight. They get pick 13, give the Jets back pick 15. They get a second-round pick 42 overall, and then they get a pick next year, right? They swapped like some 5th and 6th-round picks for day 3 later in the week. We won't dive into that minutia. But next year, they also get the Jets' second-round pick, but it becomes a first-round pick as long as Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps, which means he has to play 11 games, essentially, roughly around 11 games next year. So if the Jets are at least 500, he's going to play 11 games. So the Packers will likely get, assuming he's healthy and they're winning, we'll get a first-round pick next year.
This is my own curiosity. If you're the Jets and you just go, Brad, you know what? We're going to give you one first-round pick, or we're going to give you a second and a third.
Yeah.
We're taking them. What do the Packers do? Like, what's the recourse? Where do you go?
In terms of if that's all they offered?
No, if the Jets go, look, we're not giving you – we're going to take them for, very little.
Well, then you'd start calling other teams.
Would you? So why weren't they calling other teams in this whole – why was it a big standout? It was
because they knew they were going to get them to bend.
But was it because Aaron liked the team? All the parties were in for it?
Yeah.
Because Aaron had say over where he went, really.
Yeah, and I think that I also think there's part of them that want to do right by Aaron. I just think it was if Jets would have gave a laughable offer that looks nothing like this,
right.
The Packers wouldn't have taken it. I mean, they would have continued to hold out.
Yeah.
And then, because the Jets will have given up on their season. Woody Johnson is an impatient owner, and I get it. I mean, they've been to the playoffs for 12 years, and you have an opportunity to go get Aaron Rodgers. You're going to pay that. Now, the dynamics would have changed a little bit post-draft. I just didn't think there was any way this wouldn't get done. And if it wouldn't have, let's say the Jets never budge, and it gets to mid-August, you start calling other teams. I know. There was just no way.
I just don't know why. I wish, as a Packer fan, we could have shopped him a little bit more. You know what I mean? And got a better deal. But I understand. They didn't want to trade within the division, right?
Yeah.
I thought San Fran would have been a great pick, but they don't want to face them in the NFC Championship again and with Aaron Rodgers.
I think the hard part with this deal was you just don't know how long he's going to play for. He's going to play for 1 or maybe 2 years. Who's going to give up a lot for that? And we already know he's been playing this kind of flaky role. For me, it was so interesting, right? So 2020 happened where, I believe it was 2020, where they drafted Love.
Yep.
And, pre that, Rodgers was always a little bit his own man, right? But that ushered in an era that was rebellious Rodgers, right? I mean, he was growing his hair out. He's wearing funky T-shirts. He's showing up as Con Air, right? I mean, the dude was
Nick
just
Cage,
rebellion
absolutely.
mode. He shows up in New York. He's got a haircut. He's wearing a polo.
He looked
he's
good.
throwing to his receivers.
He looked very handsome.
He looked handsome.
He looked very handsome.
This is like he had his like rebellious teenager phase, and now he's back to being the quarterback that he was, dialed in, clean cut, the guy that he was back in 2015 when I was playing him, and in Carolina, and the Packers were kings of the North then too. So
this is all over. Jordan Love getting drafted, and then not investing in the team.
Yeah, it had part to do with it, right? Because he was also, heading into that 21 offseason, which was after Love was drafted, to your point. He was blaming it more so on the treatment of veterans as they went out the door, right? He was not happy with the way, and I'm just throwing names out. I don't remember if this is exactly who he quoted, but, guys like Josh Sitton and T.J. Lang, as they were let out the door, he wasn't happy with how they were treated on their way out, which was interesting because the Packers handled the way Aaron Rodgers walked out 1265 Lombardi Ave with so much care, right? I mean, to Brad's point, they wanted to do right by Aaron. The Jets were the team he picked, so they waited 6 weeks to finally get the deal that they wanted in place ahead of draft night tonight.
And drafting Love, we have to remember – that was coming off a pretty poor season by Rodgers' standpoint. And this whole idea that a quarterback can play in their late 30s, early 40s, that was still pretty new at the time.
They were in the NFC Championship game.
I think they
I
struggled
checked
that year.
2019?
Let's check that.
19 they were. Yeah.
They were?
They were what?
They were in the NFC Championship game, I think.
I swear they were. That was my I thought if I look back at my memory.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you know what? They were.
19 they were. Yeah.
They were.
And then 20 was
right.
Tampa.
This was the deal where I was like irate. Like, how do you we're right there.
Yeah.
And you go trade up for this guy. And
it was 2018 that he took a step back, and then 2019 he did well.
Yes. Is there a point to doing for the next guy as you didn't for the last guy? Will the Packers go tight end or wide receiver tonight? Speaking of 1265 Lombardi Avenue, we'll check in there with our buddy Jason Wilde. Right after this, it's the draft edition of the Great Dane Huddle, live on ESPN Madison.
The Great Dane Huddle continues next on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
You'll notice that some jewelry stores in the area are giving big, deep down discounts, as much as 60%. But you know what they're doing, don't you? They're just marking it up to mark it down. That's why for over 30 years, Chalmers Jewelers has offered you truth in pricing. You will always find great value on unique custom jewelry at Chalmers Jewelers. Truth in pricing is what it's always been.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
Zimbrick Chevrolet.
When was the last time you had your oil changed or your tires rotated? Do you need new tires, a battery, perhaps some windshield wipers? Zimbrick Chevrolet Service Center is equipped to help you with routine maintenance, major repairs, and everything in between. Get your free battery inspection coupon and schedule an appointment today at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Don't overpay. Shop Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie.
Main Street, Sun Prairie, Zimbrick Chevrolet.
Live the high life at the Nitty Gritty, the official birthday bar and home of the famous Gritty Burger. On your birthday, enjoy a free Memento birthday mug and filled up with free beer, specialty birthday cocktails, or soda all day long. For more information about upcoming events and specials, and to join the Nitty Gritty Birthday Club, visit thegritty.com. The Nitty Gritty, a tradition since 1968. Madison, Middleton, Sun Prairie. Check out our Miller High Life Power Hour specials daily. Also enjoy High Life at Deluxe, Bar Carolini, and Jordan's Big Ten Pub.
Dancing Goat Distillery, one of the largest in Wisconsin, will release their 7-year straight bourbon this Friday at 2 p.m. in their tasting room. And guess what? Me and Matt Hamilton will be there for a live broadcast because we love some great bourbon. Dancing Goat is located 20 minutes east of Madison in Cambridge. Dancing Goat offers distillery tours, guided tasting, and a gin academy where guests craft their own bottles of gin. Come out this Friday to grab a bottle of their Dancing Goat bourbon and stay for a cocktail. Maybe me and Matt will join you. Cocktail service will be available from 4 till 7.
My eye doctor gives me a lot of great advice, but the best piece of advice she ever gave me was where to go for LASIK. TLC Laser Eye Centers. Did you know that TLC has performed over 2.3 million LASIK procedures nationally, including treatment for over 10,000 doctors? Doctors recommend TLC because that's who they trust with their eyes. So book your free consultation now at TLC Laser Eye Centers, the doctor's choice for LASIK.
Right now, TLC is offering $1,000 off their Wavelight laser when treated in May. That's $500 off per eye. So call 888-TLC-2020 or visit SaveOnTLC.com. That's SaveOnTLC.com. The doctor's choice for LASIK. Must mention this promotion and be treated in May of 2023 to qualify. $1,000 off for both eyes on standard Wavelight price. $500 off for one eye. Cannot be combined with any other offers. See details at SaveOnTLC.com.
You're listening to Madison's home for Milwaukee Bucks basketball.
It's Giannis going downhill. Giannis with a burst of speed and power all mixed together.
100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Take your pictures down and check it out. Truth or consequence, say it aloud. Use that evidence, race it around. There goes my hero, watch him as he goes.
Draft night special of the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. Alex Strouf, former draftees Tarek Saleh, Brad Nortman with me, and we head up to Green Bay, Wisconsin. We head to 1265 Lombardi Avenue. That is where you will find the great Jason Wilde, who you hear weekday mornings 9 to noon alongside the Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher. Jason, how are you tonight, my friend? We talked a couple days ago. You hadn't really slept all week with all the Aaron Rodgers drama. I hope you got a good night's sleep last night, and you're feeling good today. How are you?
Well, I got more sleep than Eric Name did. I'm not at 1265 Lombardi Avenue just yet. I'm on my way there. But a pleasure to join such esteemed former NFL draft picks and you, Strouf.
Yeah, I'm no longer outnumbered, right? Me and you have something in common, Jason, and that is that we were both never drafted to the NFL. So we have that in common, at least.
Oh, maybe you don't know enough about my history then.
Very funny. I know you're in your high school Hall of Fame, but not in the NFL Hall of Fame or Draft Hall of Fame. I don't know if that exists. Nonetheless, Jason, pick 13, the Packers pick swap, as Tausche manifested throughout this process of Aaron Rodgers being traded to the Jets. Does that change Brian Gutekunst's draft approach as he moves up from 15 to 13 in the first round?
I don't think it changes it a ton. 2 picks, while certainly great to move up 2 picks, I don't think it has that big of an impact. I would say that the second-round pick that they added tomorrow is the one that could affect not only what they do tomorrow, but what they do tonight. Now, do I think that there's enough value that they should go up and use one or both of those second-round picks to move up from 13 and into the top 5 or whatever it might be? Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I think given the number of needs they have, the smarter play would be to go the other direction. And maybe there's a quarterback that has stayed on the board to 13 and a team is willing to come up and mortgage some of its future to get that 13th pick and draft a quarterback. Again, I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but if I was betting, I would think it's more likely for them to move back. But Goody did say that extra second-round pick gives them the ammunition to go up if they so choose.
Jason, it's your favorite punter, former punter in media, as we remember from our retirement ceremony. Wow. That cuts deep.
Wow.
That cuts real
deep. The hell
deep.
was that, Jason?
I thought we were close, Jason. That cuts real deep. As you look at the first-round draft picks under Goody's time particularly, but even further back than that, oftentimes Packers, they don't draft the brand name guy, right? They're drafting guys in the first round. Now, they've usually drafted later in the first round, but they're usually guys that maybe I've never heard of them, right? And then they're a bit of a surprise. What are the odds that something like that happens tonight? Would you be surprised? You know, there's all these mock drafts, and easier to mock draft when they're at 13. But would you be surprised if the draft pick comes around and it's not someone that we're familiar with? It's a surprise name, like they kind of have done in the past.
Yeah, I think that you're right. At 13, that's pretty unlikely, right? Like, you might be surprised by, I don't know, they go offensive tackle, right? Which, again, I wouldn't be surprised by at all. I think David Bakhtiari is playing his final season in Green Bay.
Wow.
I don't think he's got a $40 million cap number next year. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they went tackle. So whether it's Peter Skoronski or it's Paris Johnson if he falls to them, or it's Broderick Jones, whoever it might be, I won't be surprised by them. I think it's pretty hard to pull a real surprise at 13 where it's, say, someone who all the mock draft nicks types have in, like, the second round. Whereas when you're drafting at the bottom of the first round, it's pretty easy to take a guy who, quote-unquote, experts don't have going in the first round. So I would be really shocked by that. I would say this. His first-round draft picks have been uneven, if we're being kind. Jair Alexander is terrific. I think Rashawn Gary is going to be really good. He's got to come back from an injury here. But as long as they don't take somebody from Georgia for the fourth straight first-round pick.
So, Wildy, this is Tarek. How you doing, man? Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, Tarek, I'm familiar with your work. Been a big fan of yours for a long time, brother.
Well, thank you very much. So, speaking of the defense, you alluded to, is the defense, are they missing leadership? What are we missing on the defense?
How long is the program?
Yeah, but on paper you had 2 first-round picks. Rashawn Gary is the greatest thing since sliced bread. You get some decent middle linebackers. You get some guys interior that are pretty good. What are we missing?
No, you're right. I think, well, there's a few things. And I would like to point out for our audience that Tarek's the only one who had to really introduce himself, and he's the one I've known the longest, which I don't think. But be that as it may.
Hey, Jason, it's Alex Strouf here, by the way.
Hey, is Jesse Nelson proud? I'd love to.
He actually is. He's just behind us.
Look, Tarek, I don't know what's missing, but it feels like it's a bunch of little things that when you add them up, they're not a top 10 defense. Like, I think they're missing some creativity of scheme. I think now they're missing a veteran safety that's reliable, right? I mean, all indications are that while Adrian Amos was not exactly the second coming of Nick Collins, he was steady, he was consistent, not a huge playmaker, but never missed a game in his 4 years in Green Bay. Reliable guy. Darnell Savage, okay player, but certainly not a first-round pick production from him. And if they had a do-over, they probably wouldn't have given him the fifth-year option at this time last year, right? So there's disappointment there in the back end. They've got a top-flight corner. I think Rasul Douglas is a really good player when he plays outside. I thought he was miscast inside. They're giving that job to Keyshawn Nixon. They liked what he did there in addition to kick returns. I'm not as sold on Eric Stokes as House once was. I didn't think he finished his rookie season that impressively. I think Devondre Campbell took a major step back. I thought Quay Walker was really good for a rookie, but now he's not a rookie anymore. Made on that curve. And then there's defensive line. They lost a couple of guys that weren't stars, but certainly were reliable. I'll say this: one of the greatest defensive tackles that NFL.
Oh boy, Jason, are you hooked up to your car Bluetooth or something? We're losing you. Jason's quoting Field Yates, but I can't hear him. Jason, I don't know if you hooked up your car Bluetooth, but we got a horrible sound and we lost you there for a moment. And there's that horrible sound again. Jason, I don't know what's happening. As we chat with Jason Wilde here on the Great Dane Huddle. Tarek?
One of my concerns, is Rashawn Gary. And I think Rashawn Gary's an amazing talent. But
you've been very critical on him.
I think he's lazy. I think he's been underperforming since freshman year of college. He was the number one recruit, and some people say he was the best recruit in 20 years. He has not lived up to what his ability is. I'd rather have numerous edge rushers than him. He's a 10-sack-a-year guy. You need to be a 20-sack-a-year guy. He's not there yet. I have a feeling that maybe in this draft, if there's an edge rusher that could help push him a little bit, that they will go after him. That would be the only defender that I think that they would take in that first round.
Yeah.
I do think in that first round that we're going to look at offensive linemen as Jason alluded to.
Well,
and then I think that maybe a slot receiver or tight end.
Well, Jason, I don't know if you were visiting Aaron Rodgers' beautiful house where there's a lack of cell reception, but it's good to have you back. Your response to Tarek Saleh and his analysis there, if you heard all of it.
First of all, you guys need to FaceTime me, obviously. Secondly,
clearly.
How long was I talking to myself? Did you hear my line about Aaron Donald?
We lost you at about when you referenced Field Yates.
I don't remember referencing Field Yates, so that's a real concern.
You're definitely a football player. We forget a lot from those hits to the head.
So Aaron Donald was 13th overall pick. I think they can find an impact edge rusher or defensive player there and keep their streak alive of drafting defensive players almost exclusively in the first round. Now, to Tarek's point, Couch loves Rashawn Gary. I like him, but the guy that I'm not sure what to make of is Preston Smith. He led them with 8.5 sacks last year, but I'm not sure that I would look at Preston Smith, a field tilting player. So if there's a chance to get an edge rusher that you believe can come in and have an impact right away, even if you have to move up a few spots to get him, I think you do that.
So Jason, is Rashawn Gary, is he lazy?
No, I don't think it's that. I don't know. How many stars of a recruit were you?
I don't know. I'd probably be like a 3.
Did they exist back then?
It was close. Tom Lemming started doing some things back then, but I'm
just trying to call you old Tarek.
I put myself at best a 3, maybe a 2.
Okay, because I know Nortman was more heavily recruited than Joe Thomas, so I didn't want to ask him.
That's right.
There wasn't enough stars.
That's in the record books.
Maybe 10 stars for Nortman.
At least.
But I think it's hard for any player that is viewed the way Rashawn Gary was coming out of high school. He didn't live up to his billing at Michigan, and at this point in Green Bay, there's a lot of people that want to call him an elite pass rusher, but even before his injury, I don't think he was to that level. So, I don't think he's lazy by any stretch. I think he works really hard. I don't think that he's has.
So, you there, Jason?
I think we lost Jason Wilde. Well, it's the top of the hour anyway.
I can tell you, my next question was going to be, would you have paid Rashawn Gary $130 million if he was healthy?
What's your fascination with Rashawn Gary?
No, but it's a huge part.
But you're fascinated by him. You are. You've always been very critical, and you're fascinated by him.
I am, because he's 6'3", 275.
So you're jealous of him?
No. Dude, are you kidding me? I want the Packers to do well. And you have this guy who is supposed to be, Aaron Donald or T.J. Watt, and he doesn't live up to that, and then it permeates around the defense. And you have a lazy, underperforming defense with all this talent. That's the problem. And if your leader is lazy, then it just everyone else is lazy.
No doubt about it. He's Tarek Saleh, Brad Nortman, Alex Strouf with you. It is a special draft night edition of the Great Dane Huddle. We'll reconnect with Jason Wilde later in the night, as I imagine probably close after or close before the Packers are on the clock at pick number 13. We'll reconnect with Jason Wilde. So in the meantime, I hope he takes care and is good. Take care, be good is this thing. I don't know. I try to fit it in. We are less than a minute away from the commissioner hitting the podium in Kansas City, Missouri, as the 2023 NFL Draft gets underway. We're back in a flash as we get things going. 1 hour down, 3 to go. It is the draft night edition of the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg.
Ben Bruss here for my favorite racetrack in North America, and that is Road America. Race fans, it's time to make your summer plans for fast family fun at Elkhart Lakes Road America. Experience 9 major races from vintage weekends to high-thrill NASCAR racing at the best NASCAR track in America. Bring the entire family for more affordable fun with on-site camping, free parking, and most of all, free admission for kids 16 and younger. See the full race schedule at roadamerica.com. Road America, America's national park of speed.
You can't miss a moment with Green.
This is royalty. Do I bow? What does one do when the king comes to town? He chose us. And now I know what it's like to be the beautiful cheerleader. I've never been the beautiful cheerleader. I've never been the beautiful anything. The prettiest cheerleader is always the one who winds up with the quarterback, right? Especially when the quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know how to feel, but I'm going to have a really good time finding out.
Greeny, weekdays noon to 2 on 100.5 ESPN.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you. Donate at V.org, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Everybody, huddle up. Live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, this is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN. With former Badger and NFL punter Brad Nortman and Rose Bowl champions Tarek Saleh and Derek Engler, here's Alex Strouf.
Our numero dos of the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. Our first course is in front of us. Tarek, of course, eating while we're on the air, per usual. Good to have him back. Brad Nortman here as well. I'm Alex Strouf. It is the Great Dane Huddle. As the montage being played with Rob Riggle of the Kansas City, well, he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and Brian Baumgartner, Kevin from The Office, wearing his Packers gear on the draft montage being shown on ESPN. As it is officially 7 o'clock, which means the team that drafted both Tarek Saleh and Brad Nortman will be on the clock momentarily. The Carolina Panthers hanging on to the first overall pick in tonight's NFL draft. Brad, you are smiling with glee.
You know what's amazing to me? We're watching this, and, I mean, there's thousands of people there. Millions watching online, us included.
Yep.
And we're about to watch a guy read names. He's going to be reading names. I mean, that is just like the crazy.
Well, when you boil it down to the simplest of
they're
concepts,
just reading names, and that is just it's wild. It's hard to believe, and it's beautiful. I love the NFL for it. The excitement. Look at that Panther fan right there. They give them some Bryce Young.
You know her,
They're
don't you?
Probably. She probably wore the Nortman jersey at some point. I find it so entertaining that I am fully bought in. I love the draft. I just want to watch some names being read.
It's crazy.
Let's
It's
see some
crazy
names
that
being read.
it's so exciting with just names being read. I mean, phenomenal. The NFL, maybe top 3 brands in America,
and it's hope, right? That's what
Nike
what people,
and Apple, the other two. I mean, what would the other two be?
Yeah, I mean,
Google, Coca-Cola,
ESPN.
It's the top 5.
ESPN. McDonald's,
ESPN, of course.
course.
But it's awesome. I mean, it's hope, right? I mean, every team is thinking that this could be the pick that turns the tide and brings their team to success in the fall. And I love it. It's good memories for you and I, Tarek. And, man, can we just get the first pick underway?
Yeah, I'm ready to get this thing started, man.
So Kansas City winning the Super Bowl has nothing to do with them hosting this, right? They've already predetermined this.
This is decided about 3 years in advance because I know the Packers and Green Bay are in talks of the 2025 draft, I believe, so 2 years away, maybe 26. But I know they continue to throw their name in the hat. So the draft will be coming to Green Bay at some point, which means when that happens, this show will be done at a impromptu set-up Great Dane location in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Well, that'd be fantastic. What a day that would be.
The crowds for that.
I don't know that any of us would be in the shape to be on the air at 6 p.m.
Engler will not miss that, I promise you.
He won't be hung up at an airport in Atlanta?
No.
Good. Well, pick number 1 belongs to the Panthers. Pick 2, the Houston Texans. Pick number 3, as of now, belongs to the Arizona Cardinals. But again, it's been reported throughout the night that they are in talks with the Tennessee Titans to trade both the number 3 pick and wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to Tennessee in exchange for pick number 11, which Tennessee hangs on to right now. And I imagine there's some more compensation beyond that. But that is what is being reported right now by both Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. So we'll keep you posted. There will be trades throughout the night, but I want to familiarize you with the sounds we will be using and what they indicate tonight. So Hunter Vaughn, our producer back in the just the ESPN Madison studio, has these sounds. So when a pick is in, you will hear this sound. And if a trade comes in, you will hear this sound. So again, Tarek, I know, like you said, you have short memory. Let's do that again. If a pick comes in, you'll hear this. One of the best sounds in sports, by the way. Can we do that one more time? One more time, the draft sound. Oh, that's so good. Best time of the year. And then if a trade comes in, you will hear this sound. So those are the tones to keep an eye on tonight as we are with you till 10 o'clock here on the Great Dane Huddle. That draft sounds so good.
Oh, it gives me chills.
It's as good as the March Madness theme.
It is.
Right? I mean, those are two of the best sounds in sports. Such a great sound. As the Carolina Panthers will be on the clock momentarily. We are still awaiting the arrival of the commissioner, Roger Goodell.
You know, the one thing I remember back when the draft was over, you know, it started at 10 a.m. and all that. It was almost like the Masters. You could take a nap during the Masters and still wake up. You get caught up. It's a full day of fun or a full night. I mean, obviously, being at the Great Dane Huddle, we could have a lot of fun, drink beers and all that. But you could just, in your worst moment, you could enjoy the draft and just sit there and just follow your team and take a nap or get caught up, whatever you got to do. It's just an easy, fun event.
You know what's so funny to me is when you watch like old NFL documentaries and they're going through the draft, they're just in some hotel ballroom at a table kind of like ours, and their helmet's on there, and there's just these dudes in a room, and they're just like writing on a piece of paper, and they hand it to someone. You got the old like rotary phone. To see what that was and now what it is and what we're looking at is just, it's incredible. The growth of the NFL brand, it's as strong as it's ever been, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's going to be a fun night.
Well, the commissioner has taken the stage in Kansas City. He is joined by, now I don't know their name, I think Eric Stonestreet. He's in Modern Family, right? I don't know who the other lady is. She looks familiar, though. What's she from?
I don't know.
She's in something I watched recently. She also Modern Family, maybe? Saturday Night Live, is that right? Okay, she's in something else too that I recently watched, but I know he's in Modern Family nonetheless. The commissioner on the stage announcing to the people of Kansas City they're happy to be there, as well as put the Carolina Panthers on the clock. Will we be shocked if it's anybody but Bryce Young? I would be shocked.
I would be shocked.
I'd be shocked.
Now, we got to talk about this Reddit rumor that came out earlier in the week. Now, Tarek, are you familiar with what Reddit is?
I get like an email every day from them, but I wipe it out right away. So give me some.
So it's a long-time website and app that's a forum. Remember forums? They were big in like the aughts in the early 2010s, and now Twitter's kind of taken the place of a forum. And so somebody signed up for Reddit last week and had never posted anything on Reddit. And then they posted a thread in the NFL page that just said, Will Levis of Kentucky, your guy, Tarek, has been telling his friends and family that Carolina is interested in taking him at number 1 overall, right? And then the betting odds.
Who's the source?
Anonymous source on Reddit.
Yeah.
And now the betting odds. Now this is the important part. The betting odds have changed from plus 4,000 for Will Levis to go first overall down to plus 400 for Will Levis to go number 1 overall. So do with that information what you will.
Did you see his response to it?
No, I didn't.
It's a great response. You know what he said?
What'd he say?
Well, of course you should believe everything you read on Reddit. So he's basically not saying yes. He's not saying no. He's being funny with it. I thought that was a brilliant response.
That is brilliant.
I love that. Humility in there. Right?
Yeah.
A little bit. Like saying, hey,
because is he joking?
Really
Is
going
he
to
not?
anything you read?
Look who's behind the microphone now, holding the Lombardi Trophy, the Super Bowl champion, Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce also on the stage in Kansas City as they kick the festivities off in Kansas City, Missouri for this year's NFL Draft. So a star-studded stage right now in Kansas City. I am getting impatient. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm getting a little impatient.
It's a lot of theatrics. I mean, we haven't even started the clock yet.
No, we haven't.
And Jason Kelce is looking exactly how I envisioned.
Well, Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce,
yeah. Jason lost in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He's looking about as I expected him.
Yeah, like a white button-up holding the Lombardi Trophy. Those two have so much fun, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. They live good lives.
Yes.
Well, it's funny. You know they're going to, basically Mahomes is going to throw it to Kelce. Everyone knows it, but they can't stop it. It's a phenomenon.
Yeah, they're going to win another Super Bowl next year.
Every time Kelce gets open, he knows how to deal. I mean, if you're in a zone, forget about it. He's going to figure out where the hole is, and they're going to connect.
Yeah.
The Carolina Panthers are officially on the clock. The graphic is up. The clock has started. And the team that drafted both Tarek Saleh and Brad Nortman is officially on the clock.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
They know who they're going to pick, right?
Well, of course they do.
How quickly do you think they get the pick in?
It'll take 9 minutes.
You think it'll take the whole thing?
Well, right, because
just take your time.
Now, I know the movie Draft Day with Kevin Costner, which I watched again on Tuesday. Great movie, in my opinion. It's not very realistic, though.
Oh, come on.
It's not very realistic. However, I do believe one part that is realistic is they all have their tradition in the draft room, the war room, if you will, right? They all put the pick in together. They call it in together. They take their time. They say, hey, fellas, it's been a long time. Come in. The general manager in Carolina probably giving a little bit of a pep talk. I don't even know who the GM is there these days. Do you, either of you know? I have no idea who it is.
Man,
There's been so much turnover recently.
Yeah, well, there is the draft room.
So they're all in. They're talking. They're going to give a pep talk, and then they're going to call in Bryce Young, the quarterback from Alabama.
You think they're giving a pep talk?
Yeah, I think so. Carolina only has one pick tonight, if I'm not mistaken, and they do. So, yeah, a little bit of a pep talk. Going to be a fun weekend.
Can I say, in theory, can they actually have a contract agreed upon already with them? Do they? I heard.
I don't think
I don't
legally,
think so.
but
they
could.
No, but the verbal agreement of, hey.
Well, they know they're taking them, yeah.
Yeah, so why would they be negotiating right away and get them signed?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I've heard that before.
But I think the whole thing with the draft is you are legally putting in the rights for that player. So I think they can tell him, like, we're going to take you, but it's all verbal until it's official.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
But they can go, hey, listen, we're going to, what is it going to take to sign you? And, the agent's going to say, well, it's whatever, $20 million. But I don't know. I don't know if they're able to do that or not. But.
All right, let's take a break now. So when we come back, we can hear from the commissioner, Roger Goodell, and him announcing Alabama's quarterback, Bryce Young. Unless I'm crazy, going number 1 to the Carolina Panthers. The draft starts now. You're listening live to the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg.
Reaction to the football weekend continues next. This is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Spring into a new deal at Metro Ford of Madison. With 125 new vehicles on the lot, now is the time to buy. Get a $500 Visa gift card with any vehicle purchase. The 22 Ford Explorer features 0.9% APR financing for 66 months, $1,705 cost per $1,000 to qualified credit at Metro Ford of Madison.
People aren't rates or policies. Hi, this is Iric, and here at Nations Lending, making home loans human means seeing past the numbers.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. Take it from me. The team at Nations Lending in Monona truly values conversations, genuinely getting to know you and your needs to find the best home loan for you. Let them help you the way they helped my wife Becca and me. Go to nationsmadison.com to connect with a local personal mortgage advisor today.
Nations Lending, home loans made human.
Corporate NMLS unique identifier number 32416 to verify mortgage company or individual license. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Nations Lending is an equal housing lender. That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
You can't miss a moment with Greeny.
This is royalty. Do I bow? What does one do when the king comes to town? He chose us. And now I know what it's like to be the beautiful cheerleader. I've never been the beautiful cheerleader. I've never been the beautiful anything. The prettiest cheerleader is always the one who winds up with the quarterback, right? Especially when the quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know how to feel, but I'm going to have a really good time finding out.
Greeny, weekdays noon to 2 on 100.5 ESPN.
Looking to make an impact in your community? Consider applying to become a mentor with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County currently serves nearly 500 children and has over 200 waiting to be matched with a mentor like you. No skills are required, just a desire to make a difference in the lives of children. Make a big impact. Volunteer today at bbbsmadison.org to complete your application. That's bbbsmadison.org. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County. Together, we are defenders of potential.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly. Get on board. Get on board.
Stoughton Health provides comprehensive and compassionate care to Stoughton community and the entire Madison area. From our sports rehab facilities in Oregon and Stoughton to our renowned ortho team with Dr. Ravel, Stoughton Health can help. Learn more at stoughtonhealth.com.
Like, share, and follow ESPN Madison everywhere. Join us on Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok for more great content from ESPN Madison. This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Happy birthday, Mom, is what the sign says in the Panthers draft room. As we were correct, they still have not put in the pick. 3:45 to go on the number one overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft. You've been on the clock for 3 months. How do you not know yet? That's my biggest issue with the NFL draft is they give you 10 minutes per pick in the first round. The Carolina Panthers have had the first pick since what? Early March, late February? How do they not know yet?
Is there any chance they're like, wait a minute, are we sure we want this guy?
Maybe. I don't know. You guys both played there. You would know better than me.
Hey, the iconic brand wants to soak up the theater.
Hey,
right? You want to lead up to it.
You know what, too? The Carolina Panthers, they have a track record of drafting studs.
No question.
Tarek Saleh, Brad Nortman.
Yeah, they do.
The world. They better
Chris
get this
Orr?
pick right.
Well, he was
Chris
an
Orr.
undrafted free agent, but nonetheless they signed him.
High stakes for the Carolina Panthers.
All right, the pick is in, but when will the commissioner come to the podium is the question. The theatrics that Tarek Saleh alludes to are certainly taking place here in Kansas City. It's going to be a long haul before the Green Bay Packers get on the clock at pick number 13. But we'll be with you until that happens here on the Great Dane Huddle. We'll also be with you after the pick is in for the Green Bay Packers, whether that's at pick 13 or if that's at pick 29. We'll be here awaiting to see what the Green Bay Packers do here in the first round. I'm Alex Strouf alongside former draftees of the Carolina Panthers, Brad Nortman, the former punter at Wisconsin, and the all-time sacks leader at the University of Wisconsin, and former Carolina Panthers draftee, Tarek Saleh. What do you mean, whoa? You act like I've never said that before.
Well, it's awfully kind of you.
Well, it's a fact. It's not awfully kind. It's a fact. I'm just stating facts, Tarek. As much as I like to argue with you, I do like to state the facts. So the thing about the number one overall pick is it's typically anticlimactic, right? I mentioned they've known forever who they're going to take here. It's going to be Bryce Young, I would assume. Mm-hmm. And now we just have to wait 87 years to find out officially if it's Bryce Young. But The camera zooming in. Is the commissioner coming onto the podium? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? All right, Roger Goodell heading to the podium. Here he is, live in Kansas City.
Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama.
So it is official. The Carolina Panthers have selected Alabama quarterback Bryce Young with the number 1 overall pick. And that's what we got out of that.
Yeah.
Great. It's not like we knew that 3 minutes ago or anything.
Well, I think it's kind of dope.
I agree, Ron Dane. It is kind of dope. Bryce Young, the future starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. And they beefed up the offense this offseason. So Bryce Young going to have some nice targets to throw to in Carolina. But a good pick. I mean, it was a home run. It was a slam dunk pick for Carolina here at number 1.
Look, I think this is the way to go for them. You just need a guy that's going to be an adult in the room. He's been on big stages. Alabama is as NFL as it comes as far as environment and coaching and playing in the SEC. And honestly, the Panthers have been starved for a quarterback long enough. If you're going to put a haul forward for the first pick overall and get your guy, you really cannot take that risk. You need a guy. If you don't have an NFL quarterback, if you don't have an NFL starting caliber quarterback, this is what's going to happen, right? The Panthers are they've been hopeless. They've been hopeless these last couple of years. Finally some hope. Finally a guy that can deliver the football accurately. Now you just got to protect him. Protect that small frame.
Before we get Tarek's analysis, real quick, random fact I didn't notice that they're popping up on ESPN. Bryce Young is the first Alabama player drafted number 1 in the common draft era. That is
incredible.
Bonkers to me.
The first what?
He is the first Alabama player drafted number 1 overall in the common draft era, which is bonkers for how good they've been. Anyway, Tarek, your response to Brad and Bryce Young being drafted.
I really got mixed feelings, but I agree with the intangibles and his moxie and his command, and his ability to lead and do those types of things. I think my only concern is being fragile.
And his size, right? He's only 5'10 and a half.
I mean, look, he's skinny there. I mean, it doesn't look like he's gained a lot of weight. So, I don't know. I feel like this quarterback draft as a whole is not as I don't know, as promising as I felt in the past with some other quarterback classes. But, I really question everyone's ability to evaluate quarterbacks because we all think you could name probably 100 quarterbacks over the last 20 years that they grade out great. They played great in college.
Yeah.
They throw the ball on a dime. They do all this stuff. But then when the ball snaps in the NFL, things change. It's a very difficult position to evaluate.
When I would talk to scouts and assistant GMs, when they have when you get to know them there, you're there for a while. They're a bit honest with you. They will tell you that everybody, and I mean everybody, even from the John Elways and Andrew Lucks to the Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy's.
Yeah.
Everybody is a prospect. There's no guarantees. There's no home runs. And it's literally a guess and go type situation.
Yeah, and Mel Kiper Jr. was on Wilde and Tausch a couple of weeks back, and he pretty much said this is not a very good draft at the top.
No.
Right? It's a fine draft. There's of course good players, and there will be Hall of Famers that come out of this draft class. But at the top, this isn't a very good draft. Which is fascinating coming from the guy that knows it better than anybody in Mel Kiper Jr.
And I read somewhere that Bryce Young was the only quarterback that actually received a first-round grade. The other quarterbacks wouldn't even be first-round caliber by traditional standards.
But Tarek mentioned earlier, right? You reach for quarterbacks.
But exactly right. I mean, it is the most important position in all of sports. If you don't have a quarterback, you have nothing. You cannot win. So we're going to see at least 4 quarterbacks go tonight. And even when consensus is, look, the quarterback draft class, not that good this year.
Yeah, and when they kind of reclassified their compensation, if you would, if I could use that word, the risk isn't as high. I mean, back in the 2000s, I mean, you're getting guys. They were getting $100 million. I mean,
it was risky.
The guy from Oklahoma,
Sam Bradford.
Yeah, he got like $90 million or something like that. I mean, they said the NFL said enough's enough.
Yeah.
We're going to take it down, and now guys don't mind reaching because maybe they're going to have like a $50 million total comp, but they spread it out over 5 years. It's more palatable, and they're willing to take those risks for that reason.
There's an argument to be made that you should just keep on picking quarterbacks every 3 years until you get your guy because you just need one that desperately. And I'll be curious to see what the Texans do. I wonder if they go with the quarterback.
Well, I made the mistake of looking on Twitter. Should I spoil it for you?
You gotta.
I made the mistake. I'm not going to spoil it.
No,
for
don't
you.
spoil
I'm going to wait until Goodell hits the stage, but I made the mistake. If you don't want to know ahead of time, don't go on Twitter. I just learned that.
How does Twitter know?
People are leaking it. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not the one doing it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it happens every year. I do my best to avoid it, but I stumbled right into it this time.
Okay, how about this? Were you surprised?
I was.
Really?
I was surprised, yes.
Wow. That is.
Do you agree with
cool.
the pick?
I do, yes. I do agree with the pick, yes.
That's awesome. That's
all I'll give you.
Great segue. Dude.
That's all I'll give you. That's all I'll give you.
I'm going to guess then. I'm going to guess it is, oh, boy. Okay, I'm going to guess it's another quarterback, and I'm going to guess it is C.J. Stroud.
I'm not going to tell you if you're right or wrong.
Okay.
Wait a minute. But that was you said it was a surprise. C.J. Stroud.
But,
I
mean,
mean,
C.J. has
for what
fallen
it's
a lot
worth,
recently.
I thought Will Anderson was going to go number 2.
Oh, well, then that's not fun.
From what I've been seeing, C.J. Stroud
that's
has been falling
not
like
fun,
a rock.
he says. That's not
I was
fun.
anticipating C.J. Stroud. That's my.
Well, then you won't be surprised.
Oh,
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oops.
Yeah, whoopsies.
C.J. Stroud?
Yeah, it's C.J. Stroud. At least what I saw on Twitter. But you don't know with Twitter these days, right? Because you can subscribe and get a blue check mark and whatever. So I didn't even read the name and tweeted it. I just saw it on Twitter and I closed it immediately. I did see C.J. Stroud.
I'm sure you saw the results on this S2 test for him or whatever.
Goodell at the podium right now with pick number 2.
In the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State.
There you go.
I wonder if he'll be able to break the Ohio State quarterback curse.
And we know Tarek is very passionate about this. Tell us about the history of Ohio State quarterbacks.
Well, the last quarterback I think to be a good starter was Mike Tomczak, Chicago Bears. Now, they use the word franchise. He's not a franchise. I don't believe he was. We got to get Rutledge on to discuss that. But they haven't had a quarterback. There's Art Schluster who got caught. This is back in
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah,
he got caught gambling. I don't know. He might have been on a free agent. I don't know if they've ever had a quarterback that was really a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
And so that's a concern. I do think our guy Fields at Chicago has a promise. So the tide might be turning here with these two guys because they have all the ability in the world to go do it. I don't know. I feel like if he had the intangibles of Bryce Young, with his height and his stature, I feel like he would be everyone would be like, dude, no doubt, number one.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, they just haven't put out a quarterback, and
no, they really haven't. You're right
about that. It's
a
different offense, especially now.
Yeah,
I can't speak for what happened in the '90s and the '80s, but they just. It's a lot. I think it's very programmed. I think we're starting to run that offense here.
Yeah,
which is fine because they win in college. But I think the transition to the NFL is just hard to get quarterbacks. So it's not just really necessarily the Ohio State system.
Well, and when you think about it too, and honestly, this same argument is an argument for Will Levis. Well, that's a great pass right there. I'm seeing in these highlights. Yeah. But generally speaking, he's throwing to absolutely elite receivers that are open against defenses that are not as good as their offense, inferior talent. So, I mean, Ohio State has sort of become wide receiver U when you look at the type of guys they're getting, the separation. So,
and he has the two best left tackle or left and right tackles in the game.
So the difficulty level not quite as hard. You could look at Will Levis and say he has been dealing with a lack of talent on his side of the ball, playing SEC defenses, and he's still doing well. So that'd be an argument for Will Levis. But C.J. Stroud's story is pretty wild. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he's basically like homeless as a kid. He crashed on his buddy's couches.
Wow.
Pretty wild story. I'm pretty sure that's correct.
No doubt about it.
So pretty cool to see. And
well, the
what
thing
a story.
is consistent, at least from what I know, and it seems like a lot. These kids that come out of Ohio State are good kids.
Yes.
I mean, Justin Fields, great kid. That's a big part of
no doubt
why he's got buy-in from the Chicago Bears. And they have a lot of other good kids on that team. That's why they win. They have great talent, and they got good kids.
Well, Ohio State is very, very easy to hate as a Badger fan. But generally speaking, every Ohio State player I've come across, really good guys.
Yeah.
Hardworking, talented. Yeah,
so
they're just good guys. So.
Not a whole lot different than Wisconsin, though. I've got two hardworking fellas right next to me, Tarek Saleh, Brad Nortman, and Alex Strouf. Let's do this. Let's take a break because Arizona might be moving the picks, so this might take some time. When we come back, picks 3, 4, and 5, Arizona, Indianapolis, and Seattle. Coming up next, it's the Great Dane Huddle Draft Special live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg.
Reaction to the football weekend continues. This is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
The 2023 season is underway and Fun for All is back with the Forward Madison FC Family Special on sale now. Bring the family to exciting professional soccer at Breeze Stevens Field. Enjoy a ticket, Pepsi product, sandwich, and a Forward Madison scarf for just $21. Forward Madison has fun for the whole family. Enjoy Lionella Bessie, the team's dairy cow, our new kids zone, and more at every Forward Madison match. For tickets, go to forwardmadisonfc.com. Forward Madison, fun for all.
Medicine Money Guy Christian Finfrock here. Struggling to understand retirement planning, life insurance policies, or managing your wealth? Listen to my show every Saturday at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN or call me right now at 208-1800 for a complimentary consultation.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
Deja vu. Green Bay has traded with New York.
Aaron Rodgers is going to the New York Jets. It's official. It is happening, finally, after all this time.
This is 100.5 ESPN.
The Great Dane Huddle Draft Edition live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. We went over the sounds before. Let's hit the one we haven't heard yet. The Arizona Cardinals have traded pick number 3 to the team that just picked at number 2. The Houston Texans are going back-to-back picks at the top of the draft, and the pick is in for Houston. And this is where I think they go with Will Anderson. As the pick is in, we await the commissioner to confirm what I thought all along. I thought they would go Anderson 2 and then quarterback later, but they went with C.J. Stroud at 2. They trade up to number 3. They had pick 12. I imagine they lose that now. So that becomes Houston at number 3. I'm just trying to jot this all down so I can keep track of this. What a wild happening here. I figured Houston might want to move from 12. I didn't see them moving all the way up to 3. What a heck. D'Amico Ryan's the new head coach in Houston as he is beefing up that locker room with some rookie talent.
Very splashy. And when you look at it, what are the things that are the primary focus when you're building a team? You want quarterback and you want to rush the quarterback. And they're just going for it and saying, you know what, we're gonna attack both of those areas, and we're going to change the complexion of our team today.
Yeah, and they're dipping into the Alabama, likely, if they go Will Anderson, and Ohio State pools with C.J. Stroud, 2 of the best college programs consistently in the country.
Yeah, and if you're evaluating these guys, and they're great leaders and just really difference makers, I see it happening. I prefer to trade down and get more picks, but if these guys are, you're getting huge value. This isn't in the middle of the first round. You're getting huge value at the top of the draft, and you're going to take that risk because you're starting a new franchise.
Here's the commissioner with the pick.
He's got to work on his 40 time.
It's tricky for Roger as he takes forever to get to the podium.
Have traded the 3rd pick to the Houston Texans. With the third pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Will Anderson Jr.
There you go.
Linebacker, Alabama.
So 2 Alabama prospects off the board in the top 3. Again, your order so far. Carolina at number 1 takes Bryce Young. At number 2, Houston takes quarterback C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. Houston trades back up for pick number 3 and takes Will Anderson Jr., the outside linebacker from Alabama. So Houston has made 2 of the 3 picks in the draft so far tonight.
We have the terms of the.
I have not seen them yet, but I will keep you posted as they come through.
I thought Goodell announces what they normally trade for.
Here we go. I got them for you, Tarek. It's number 3 and 105 for the Texans, and they lose 12-33, which is the second pick in the second round, and 2024 first round and 2024 third round.
Wow,
that's
pretty
a heck
steep.
of a haul for the Cardinals.
That is very steep.
Wow.
So
wow. They must really believe in this guy. They must have really identified him and CJ as it's worth it.
He's the best defensive player in the draft,
right?
I mean, so you take the number 2 quarterback in the draft, at least according to most people and what they thought coming in, and you take the top defender in the draft. Not a bad haul.
This is the Parsons of this year?
That is the belief. I don't know that he can play all over the field quite like Parsons, but he can certainly rush the quarterback better than just about anybody in this draft. At least that is what is thought. You never know, though, with how it works out in the NFL draft.
Well, get your quarterback and rush the opposing quarterback. That's a formula that works in the NFL, and you need to fill in the other gaps for sure, but that is the building blocks for offense and defense. So I give him credit for just saying whatever it takes. We're going to get our guys.
I'd be shocked if a quarterback is not picked at number 4 for the Indianapolis Colts, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know who they have on their roster right now, to be real honest with you. I don't know who they're – if the season started today, I have no idea who their quarterback would be. So I would imagine this is either Will Levis or Anthony Richardson here at pick number 4. That would be my guess, my hunch, unless I'm forgetting about somebody. But
unless there's no possible trade for Lamar Jackson or something like that.
No, Lamar Jackson, did you miss that today? Signed a 5-year deal. He's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history.
Really?
Yeah.
How much guaranteed?
More than what Jalen Hurts got a couple weeks ago. I think it's over 220. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Better hope he stays on his feet.
Which has been tough for him.
Yeah.
Right now, I believe Gardner Minshew, the best quarterback on the Colts roster. So.
Yeah. It wouldn't hurt.
I would think they will. As much as I like Gardner Minshew and his mustache, I think they go. Quarterback here. But about 5 minutes remaining for the Indianapolis Colts. After the Colts pick, we'll take a break and then we will talk to our buddy Mark Tauscher about 7:45 tonight. We'll get Tauscher's thoughts on the top 4 and what's coming up with the Packers at pick number 13. Tarek, you and Tauscher, do you guys bicker a lot when you get together or not really?
Not really. I usually it's. We're aligned more than we are against each other. We don't get to see each other that much, but every now and then, I listen to his show or he might listen to us and just nice take or it's pretty. He's a good dude and we get along well. So,
well, good. I hope you continue to get along in about 10 minutes when we chat.
Yeah, I
with
just
him.
wondering what he's got to say. And it'd be fun.
I hope
he has a better connection than
Wilde. Yeah, Wilde was driving. I don't know if it was a Bluetooth thing, whatever. We'll talk to Wilde later tonight after the Packers make their selection at pick 13. Maybe they'll move out of it. What are you looking forward to? Hit us up on the ESPN Madison Talk and Text line, 844-770-3776. Who's your guy for the Packers at 13? Would love to know your take on that as we quickly approach. This is moving along now. I'm happy with the pace of the draft. I was getting very impatient after the first hour of our show as the pick is in for the Indianapolis Colts, and we will await the commissioner to see if it's Anthony Richardson, if it's Will Levis, or if they go a different direction.
Yeah. This is Chris Ballard, by the way, a former veteran.
Yeah.
The GM.
He was a teammate of yours, right?
No.
Was he before your time?
It's by a year, I think.
Okay. I know he was early 90s, and you were more mid-90s, right?
Yeah. I got to talk to him on the phone once or something. He's a good dude, really good.
Yeah, he's a really solid general manager too. He's done a lot of great things.
They're missing a quarterback. They've been missing a quarterback
ever since Andrew Luck retired.
Yeah,
right. I mean, Luck was the guy, and he chose his health over playing, and that will be one of the ultimate what ifs in NFL history. What if Andrew Luck continued to play? Because he would be a part of that stacked AFC right now in the quarterbacks in the AFC as Aaron Rodgers now joins the AFC and becomes one of the top quarterbacks in that conference. But you think about it, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, Rodgers, Jackson, Imagine if Andrew Luck was still there. That'd be wild.
It's never been more lopsided. That would be unbelievable. Man, what Andrew Luck did with so little talent around him, it's really incredible. It is too bad that he got so brutalized and just physically couldn't do it anymore. But I give him a ton of credit. Hard to walk away from. Hard to walk away from when you're so lauded and you're so just appreciated and cheered for.
No doubt, no doubt. As the Seahawks have pick number 5, we await the Colts at pick number 4. Will they go quarterback? Will they go elsewhere? I'm just kind of, we haven't quite gotten to the range where it's, okay, how does this mess with what the Packers want, right? We're getting close, but we're not quite there yet. As Jim Irsay, they show him on TV. He looks rough, man.
Yeah.
Him front and center there, that's him, right?
Somebody wake him up. It looks like he's just, zoned out. It's amazing how many people are in these. It's amazing how many people are in these war rooms, isn't it?
Yes.
I feel like that would not help the draft selection process. It's almost too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, I assume there's only so many guys really giving input.
Yeah, everyone else
they're
is just
as
spectator.
moral support.
Yeah.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Get me in a war room. I'll chime in with my takes.
But,
all right, let's take Goodell quick for the Colts pick. As
With
he gets
the
booed.
4th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Anthony Richardson.
Oh!
Wow.
And there goes Anthony Richardson, the quarterback from Florida, whose stock has been rising like crazy the last couple of weeks. He goes all the way up at number 4, and he's been regarded as maybe the guy with the highest ceiling but the lowest floor of these top quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson goes number 4 overall. I expected him to go early. I got to say, I didn't expect him to go this early.
This is a huge surprise for me. The Colts feel like a situation where this quarterback is going to go in there and have to play, right? We just talked about how there's no one really on roster that's a starting quarterback in the NFL. I thought Anthony Richardson would be well suited in an organization where he could sit for a year and maybe get his feet underneath him and develop him. But, man, he's going to be asked to play right away in Indianapolis.
No doubt about it.
He's a freak, man.
He is a freak. He's a freak athlete.
He could be a tight end or a wide receiver, linebacker. He's got that build.
Well, Tarek, don't be calling quarterbacks from Florida tight ends. We know what happened with Tim Tebow, don't we?
Yeah, right.
Well, guess who gets to replace Anthony Richardson in Florida?
Oh, yeah, our guy. Yeah.
Our guy, Graham Mertz.
How about that?
We'll talk to
Big
Mark
shoes,
Tauscher,
though.
Packers Hall of Famer, host of Willie and Tausch, weekday mornings 9 to noon here on ESPN Madison. We'll talk with Tauscher next. It's the Great Dane Huddle Draft Edition live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg.
Reaction to the football weekend continues next. This is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Your friend could tell you to go to TLC Laser Eye Centers for LASIK. But when your eye doctor tells you to go to TLC Laser Eye Centers for LASIK, you book your consultation. TLC has performed over 2.3 million LASIK procedures nationally, and that includes treatment for over 10,000 doctors. LASIK takes minutes, with most patients back to normal activities the next day. So come see why TLC Laser Eye Centers is the doctor's choice for LASIK.
Right now, TLC is offering $1,000 off their Wavelight laser when treated in May. That's $500 off per eye. So call 888-TLC-2020 or visit saveontlc.com. That's saveontlc.com. The doctor's choice for LASIK. Must mention this promotion and be treated in May of 2023 to qualify. $1,000 off for both eyes on standard Wavelight price. $500 off for one eye. Cannot be combined with any other offers. See details at saveontlc.com.
Dancing Goat Distillery, one of the largest in Wisconsin, will release their 7-year straight bourbon this Friday at 2 p.m. in their tasting room. And guess what? Me and Matt Hamilton will be there for a live broadcast because we love some great bourbon. Dancing Goat is located 20 minutes east of Madison in Cambridge. Dancing Goat offers distillery tours, guided tasting, and a gin academy where guests craft their own bottles of gin. Come out this Friday to grab a bottle of their Dancing Goat bourbon and stay for a cocktail. Maybe me and Matt will join you. Cocktail service will be available from 4 till 7.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of the Big Win and Madison Casino Guru, is transforming guests into winners. Making an ordinary day into a big win day is easy with a 95% average payout. And with over 140 daily jackpots, the number of people winning has never been bigger. So what are you waiting for? Escape to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison for your next big win.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Forward Madison FC has kicked off its 2023 season at Breeze Stevens Field. The Flamingos' next USL League One match is on Saturday, April 29th at 5 p.m. against Charlotte Independence. April 29th is also Star Wars night at Breeze Stevens Field, complete with a lightsaber ticket package and even a costume contest at halftime. To purchase tickets, head to forwardmadisonfc.com. Forward Madison, fun for all.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Jim Rutledge here to tell you about North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. North and South serves authentic wood-fired barbecue as well as savory seafood for both lunch and dinner. Whether it's North and South in DeForest, Verona, or the west side of Madison, you'll enjoy the best smart casual dining experience in the area. They also have takeout and catering options, so find your way over to North and South Seafood and Smokehouse, the official barbecue place of Rutledge and Hamilton. They're online at eatnorthandsouth.com.
A wide array of opportunities abound at Waste Management.
They do whatever they can to make sure that you're set up for success, both within the career and just in your personal life as well. The benefits that are offered here are honestly some of the most insane benefits that I've ever seen. They're paying for people to go to college. They invest in the employees as human beings. I've never seen anything like that.
Join the Waste Management family. Just search online, Waste Management Careers.
The end of an era. Aaron Rodgers has been traded.
Because Aaron Rodgers screwed over the Packers over the last few years, this is the most good he could do with it.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Can't read my mind, I'm undefined. I'm just beginning, the pen's in my hand, ending unplanned, staring at the blank page.
It is the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company. In Fitchburg, I'm Alex Strouf alongside former Carolina Panther draftees, just like Bryce Young, Brad Nortman, and Tarek Saleh. The Seattle Seahawks on the clock at number 5 after Houston makes 2 of the first 4 picks and 3 quarterbacks already off the board. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Anthony Richardson. Under a minute to go for the Seahawks, so we'll wait to see what they have as we welcome in the Packers Hall of Famer, the 7th-round draftee of the Green Bay Packers. The great Mark Tauscher joins us now here on the Great Dane Huddle. Tauschi, Houston makes 2 of the first 4 picks. That's not something you see every day.
No, that's not a position you want to be in. That means you stink. So Houston, I think, obviously trying to get the quarterback position right. Every team works hard to do that. They hope they got that they're going to be able to get their guy in Stroud. And then I thought the best player, and somebody Nick Saban has raved about, the fact that the Houston Texans felt strongly enough to use some draft capital to get back in there and go back-to-back to get somebody that they hope is going to be an impact player on their defensive side of the ball. I think all teams that are struggling, that are drafting this high in the draft, you're looking for field-tilting game changers. And Houston, I think, on the defensive side of the ball, he is a proven commodity. He is a big-time player. And the quarterback is always kind of you roll the dice.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Anderson's going to be a good football player for them. You know that.
No, I'm totally with you on that. He was one of my favorites in the draft this year. Tausch, let's talk about the pick swap. You've been manifesting that for the last month and a half. Packers moved from 15 to 13 tonight with the trade with the Jets with Aaron Rodgers involved. I asked Jason Wilde this a bit earlier. I'm curious on your thoughts. Do you think the draft strategy changes a ton as they move just 2 picks up from 15 to 13, the Packers do?
Well, obviously, I think it does because at 13, you never know who, especially if there's somebody really wants a Will Levis or a quarterback, and there's other teams jockeying to get up there, or if it's a wide receiver, this is not the strongest class of wideouts. So that's why I thought that pick swap was so important, because you're positioning yourself, and especially not knowing exactly what Green Bay is thinking from a perspective of, do we want to load up and get as many bites at the apple with draft picks as we can? Anytime you can position yourself that you can gain a second rounder or another third rounder to move around 3 or 4 spots, that's something that I know GMs love to have, because they all know they're not going to they're not batting 1,000. If they can get to 40 or 50% on their drafts, the more opportunities you get at it, especially early in a draft, the more likely you are to build a really strong foundation of your football team by having more picks to take a look at these guys.
Well said, Tausch. Hey, it's Brad. Thanks for coming on, man. Always a pleasure to be able to talk with you. So you know how when you're applying for college, you have like a reach school, kind of a dream school, and then you've got your kind of backup school where, hey, if I don't get into there, at least I got this and I feel pretty good about it. If the Packers stay at 13, who is the reach that if they somehow fall to the Packers, in your opinion, man, Goody and the team, they're popping champagne bottles, can't believe they got him. Is there a guy that comes to mind that is like, wow, if you were to fall to the Packers, that is like your absolute reach school? And then who would be a guy where, we just accept that, this is a good pick, quality, sort of more of your safety school? Any two guys come to mind for those type of categories?
Yeah, I think from a safety school standpoint, I think any of those tight ends who, they're a lot of the, whether it's Kincaid or, you can go through a list. The kid from Iowa, who I think that would be a reach. I don't think you want to go that high. But I think that's a position that you're looking at that I think would be safe. They're going to get a bunch of opportunities. I don't know if there is. If you can get Smith and Jigba from Ohio State, I think that's somebody everybody's excited about. I don't know how high they have him graded, but I do think that Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur are looking at this and realizing our offense wasn't good enough last year. We have a new quarterback. We have a couple of really young weapons. We want to have a core group that can grow with our quarterback. And if you start adding in, a lot of Ohio State wide receivers have said that this is the best kid that they've seen, and they have put out a ton of really good pro wide receivers. So that, I think, would be kind of their reach or their dream school if they could get him, and if he falls to that spot. And that's why I thought, part of that pick swap deal, whether the Jets were looking for another wideout or not, getting ahead of them and New England, I thought was something that was really good for Green Bay in case they want to stay with that pick, or if they're jockeying around to get more picks in the later rounds.
Mark, Tarek, how you doing, man?
What's up, Tarek? How are you, bud?
Good to hear your voice, man. So if you're Gutekunst, put your GM hat on, are you more apt to trade down and gain more picks, or are you sticking with what we got, or maybe reaching?
Well, I'm definitely not going to reach. And I think if you feel like, obviously tight end is a position that Green Bay is going to address in this draft. And but whether it's Mel Kiper or any of these experts, there's a bunch of really good tight ends that should fall between 15 and 40. If you have a guy that you feel like, and you feel good about any of those 2 or 3, and you can get a first-round pick like they did when they traded with the New Orleans Saints a few years ago, and then you can kind of jockey back up if you feel like you have to, and you gain those assets and you get those points, I think Green Bay is in a position now that David Bakhtiari mentioned it, whether they're rebuilding, reloading, they need young, good football players. And the best way to do that is by getting a bunch of picks. I think that would be the first strategy if you can do that. But you also don't want to let a special playmaker, you don't want to draft in this top 15 a bunch. There's a reason that these guys are going to be picked where they are. It's because their ceiling has that opportunity to be a field tilting player. You want to take advantage of that when you're in that position to get somebody special that can help either side of your football become a better team.
Some quick cleanup as we talk to our guy Mark Tasher here on the Great Dane Huddle. Seattle went with the Illinois cornerback, Evan Witherspoon, at number 5, and now Arizona, who moved back from number 3 to number 12, now moving back up. They're trading with Detroit to move up to number 6. So the Cardinals now on the clock here in the first round of the NFL draft. Taushi, who's your best case scenario pick for the Packers at number 13 if you were making the selection? And we know who's gone right now, but best case scenario for you at number 13.
Well, I'm always biased towards an offensive lineman, and I like the lineage, the Packer history with Skoronsky, the fact that he played at Northwestern, and you just can never have enough good bodies. And for Jordan Love, you want to get weapons around him, you want to have great wideouts, you want to get that tight end, but the most important thing is to get a good run game and to be able to protect him and let him kind of grow into this job. The best way to have that is have a really good offensive line. David Bakhtiari's winding his career down. You want to have good big bodies that can move. And so if Skoronsky or if the Ohio State tackle, there's some other players there that I think are potential to be really good professional football players. Just get somebody that's really good that you can count on for a long time, and you can look at that as a successful pick.
Tausch, I was just about to ask you that question. If you were to ask, you're around a lot of good quarterbacks in your day, and if you were to ask them, hey, what's the most important area to make me feel comfortable, whether it be weapons or offensive line, would they say offensive line? Just protect me, let me run the ball, and I'll figure it out? Is that what they would say, or would they say weapons?
It's a great question, Norty, and I think everybody will probably give you a different answer, but you can have great weapons and you can get your quarterback killed. Quarterbacks want to be able to sit in the pocket and go through their progression. And if you have good, talented wideouts, they're going to get open. Now, you have special talents. You want that guy. But I have never heard a quarterback say, man, just give me some wideouts, and you don't even need to protect me. I've never heard anybody say that. So running the football, being able to play action pass, that makes a quarterback's job and life a lot easier, and it makes their wideouts better, and it makes their whole offense better. I think most quarterbacks will tell you, make sure you give me good protection up front, and then I'm going to be able to cook and figure out ways to beat defenses.
So, Mark, I know GMs have different philosophies. What you know about Gutekunst, a lot of the GMs I hear, they say, we're going to take the best available player. I don't necessarily buy that, and I know you were biased towards an offensive lineman, but do you think it would be safe to say I would take maybe the Packers, I would take the best edge rusher, offensive tackle, slot receiver, tight end available, maybe narrow it down to a few positions where I want to take the best available or best available at these positions, or you want to take the best available overall? Where would you put Gutekunst?
You know what, I think you always want to make sure you're getting a good football player in your building, but there is, if I'm Green Bay, I don't care if Stroud or Bryce Young or any of the quarterbacks drop, you can't take a quarterback. I think you need to let Jordan Love go. You need to let him see where he's at. So that's where I would differ. But, no, if you see a great corner, if this kid from Illinois had dropped to 13 and you have him graded as a top 6 guy that's going to be a stud, I don't care if you have, Jair Alexander and Stokes coming back from an injury. You can add a great football player to your team. You bring him in. So that's where I think if you have somebody graded out at it, in an ideal world, you always will draft a great player at a position of need. But where you get in the most trouble as an evaluator is when you try to find that fit. When you do that, that's when you end up with busts, and that's when you end up thinking, how the heck did you draft this guy in the first round? Jerry McLaurin is sitting there. I want to get a tight end. I'm going to grab Sternberg. I don't need a wideout. How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, not very well. There you go, Tausch. You'll like this. The first offensive lineman goes off the board. Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State goes to Arizona at number 6. Tausch, before we let you go, what's the worst nickname you were ever given? Because I just heard you call Brad Norty. I don't know if he's ever been called that before. What's the worst nickname you've ever been given? Is it like Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch? What's the worst one for you?
Yeah, we can go that. I had, and Park knows this, Tausch Daddy Woo Woo. was one that Jerry Wunsch called me. But I have to admit, I like that nickname, so that didn't bother me. But I got to give Norty credit. And I don't know if he likes Norty as a nickname, and I won't call him, but if he's not. But his analogy game, we've played some. He's been nice enough to fill in when I take vacation. His analogy game is on point, and I would have been disappointed if he didn't bring one out tonight, and he brought it right from the jump. So, Brad, keep up the good work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Little did you know, some of my best friends from high school call me Norty.
Oh, there we go.
It's as if we go all the way back, Tausch.
Yeah, well, we do go all the way back.
We do.
We got that. We both could pop and corner people into oblivion.
That's right. There we go. Tausch Daddy, woo-woo. We appreciate the time, brother.
Thanks, Mark.
You bet. See you guys.
That's Mark Tauscher, also known as Tausch Daddy Woo Woo, apparently.
Love that.
Joining us here. I have never heard that. That is unbelievable. I'm never going to call him anything else but Tausch Daddy Woo Woo.
It really waters down Norty.
All right, we're going to take a break. Las Vegas, the Raiders are on the clock. We are only 6, I'm bad at math, 6 picks away from the Green Bay Packers. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and right here on the radio. This is the Great Dane Huddle Draft Edition of live at the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg.
Carl F. Stotts & Sons wanted to improve their office printing processes and lower costs. The solution? HP printers from James Imaging Systems. Controller Nolan Ells.
The pricing, just the serviceability is a no-brainer.
James Imaging Systems, an HP premier dealer, plus proactive toner supply management and local service.
They just took all the hiccups out of it. They sent us the ink up front. This way, none of our employees have to worry about maintaining the printers anymore and keeping them up to date.
Nolan, that's got to make you feel better.
It makes me feel a lot better knowing that there's one less area to maybe be concerned about.
HP printers, internal IT resources freed up for mission-critical initiatives and overall lower costs.
I think James Imaging did a great job, and they've stood behind everything they've said they would.
HP printers from James Imaging Systems. Local service, lower costs. Call 608-221-3457. James Imaging Systems, your local office technology partner.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Bryce Young, he's been this size his whole life. His whole life, all he's been told about is, oh, you're a little bit on the smaller side. But this dude has found ways to maneuver, to get out of the pocket, and he has incredible accuracy. I do think the right fit would help, but I do see him getting a second contract and being a franchise quarterback.
I think Bryce Young will be excellent.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm Vice President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
A wide array of opportunities abound at Waste Management.
They do whatever they can to make sure that you're set up for success, both within the career and just in your personal life as well. The benefits that are offered here are honestly some of the most insane benefits that I've ever seen. They're paying for people to go to college. They invest in the employees as human beings. I've never seen anything like that.
Join the Waste Management family. Just search online, Waste Management Careers.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking. By you. Donate at V.org. Because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Hey, this is Craig Karmazin. Join Kyle Wallace and me every Sunday morning for Sunday Karma on a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Everybody, huddle up. Live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, this is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN. With former Badger and NFL punter Brad Nortman and Rose Bowl champions Tarek Saleh and Derek Engler, here's Alex Strouf.
Hour number 3, the Great Dane Huddle Draft Special, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. I'm Alex Strouf alongside Norty, Brad Nortman, and the man, Tarek Saleh, all-time sacks leader at the University of Wisconsin. And the Raiders on the clock. Just to recap the first 6 picks quick. Bryce Young went number 1 to Carolina as we expected. C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State quarterback, went 2 to Houston. Houston trades back up for pick number 3. They take Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. There, Indianapolis selected Anthony Richardson, the quarterback from Florida, at 4. At pick 5, the Seahawks go with a quarterback, Devin Witherspoon from Illinois, the top cornerback in the draft, taken at number 5. And then at number 6, Arizona trades back up with Detroit and takes Paris Johnson from Ohio State, the offensive tackle. So now the Las Vegas Raiders on the clock, and the pick is in. So we await. Will it be a quarterback? Will it be defense? Who will it be at pick number 7 for the Las Vegas Raiders? The commissioner taking the podium in Kansas City, and we await as he reads names, Brad Nortman. He reads a name. You love the reading
so exciting.
Names. Yeah, it is
Read
exciting.
me another name.
The human mind is so simple, isn't it?
It is.
Who do we go with here? There we go. There goes Tyree Wilson, the D-end from Texas Tech. Mel Kiper Jr. had him as the number 4 prospect in this draft, so that makes sense as Tyree Wilson there goes number 7 to Las Vegas. So now we await number 8, the Atlanta Falcons. And this one's really interesting to me. I think it's quarterback no-brainer. But it's the NFL draft.
Yes.
And you have to expect the unexpected. So we will see what happens here with the Atlanta Falcons.
This guy is a monster, man.
Yeah.
Tyree
Wilson.
He's huge. What did I just say, 6'6", 275?
Yeah.
Roughly, yeah.
He's just power.
What were you coming out? And I know you weren't a DN, but you were an edge guy. Like, what
Dude. Yeah, I used to be 6'6". No.
Yeah,
no,
well, right.
No,
I'm not saying you were his size.
I'm like an undersized outside lineman. I'm 6'2" and 240. You know, I was definitely more a linebacker, edge rusher than I am a traditional defensive end.
Yeah,
I mean, being 6'5", you know, that's why, you know, go to Rashawn being 6'3", 275. That's a freak, man. Unbelievable to be able to play outside linebacker at that size. He's really unbelievable. But to be 6'6",
and he can move too. With the thing with Tyree Wilson, I mean,
Yeah.
he can move. 7 foot, half-inch wingspan.
That's long arms.
He's like a Clowney. You know what I mean? Like that type of.
Yeah, that body for sure.
To create
that's a good
separation.
comparison.
I mean, that is so hard. I'm sure if we had Taushan, he could talk about that. Long arms like that, long, powerful arms.
Yeah, that was a big
That's
challenge
hard.
for me. My arms weren't that long, you know.
Right.
But I had to use speed and technique to have this type of body. It's unreal.
Floral suit too.
Yeah, that's
What
a good pick.
Power move.
That's a good pick. I don't know, man. Some of the outfits at the NFL draft don't work. I like this from Tyree Wilson. It's like a black suit with pink and blue flowers throughout the floral pattern. Hunter, say that on the air. I think you just whispered that in my ear. Say that on the air, what you just said.
Tyree Wilson's hometown, Anchorage, Alaska.
I would go ahead and guess he is the highest picked player ever from the state of Alaska.
Yes.
I'm sure he is, but I'll check
and
that.
He gives Goodell a big-ass bear hug. That's awesome. So we move on now. 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes from the Atlanta Falcons here at pick number 8. They have Desmond Ridder, who they picked in the second round last year. But I would still go quarterback.
Really?
I think. I mean, they probably won't. I mean, Bijan Robinson's there, who Mel Kiper is the number 2 prospect in this draft, a running back from Texas. You go Jalen Carter, who's obviously fallen, the defensive tackle from Georgia, who was originally thought to be maybe the number 1 overall pick, but he had some legal stuff pop up at the NFL Combine. Now, he was a witness to something that occurred in death, and he was wanted to be a witness, but he wasn't there to give a statement. So there was originally thoughts he could be charged with a misdemeanor, but ultimately he left the Combine to go back to Athens, Georgia, to speak with the police, and then he went back to the Combine. So kind of a wild week for Carter, and that's made his stock fall a little bit. So I think maybe this is his spot here at 8.
By the way, looking at Levis, didn't look like a guy who was getting picked.
No, it did not.
He looked a little concerned.
Yeah, and I imagine he's probably the only quarterback, unless we have a total shocker, that remains here in the first round. So we will see what happens with your Connecticut boy, Tarek, Will Levis.
We might have another Aaron Rodgers on our hand here.
Ooh.
Just drop it.
We may. That was a wild draft 18 years ago.
It was wild.
Sitting back there. I mean, you think about Lamar Jackson, too, falling all the way to 32, and he was in the green room, and now today he becomes the highest-paid quarterback in NFL history as he signs a 5-year extension with the Baltimore Ravens. So, man, a lot of headlines this week with quarterbacks. Rodgers gets traded. Lamar signs his extension. Kind of a wild week.
What's interesting, though, if you think about it, obviously in the moment you don't want to fall in the draft. But what if Will Levis falls to a team like, let's say, the Minnesota Vikings, and they take him for a year? That's a good team. He's in a much better position to win than C.J. Stroud is with the Houston Texans. So there might be some value. I mean, nobody wants to fall, right?
But he also would start with Kirk Cousins there. But I know you're just making you're just giving an example.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, the longer you fall, the better the team, the better the organization. Potentially, the more set up you are for success. So hard to feel like that in the moment. I'm sure no one roots for that. But maybe a silver lining that the later you go, the better team you're on, perhaps the better organization.
What about the Tennessee Titans?
That's another good point.
You got a great run game, right? They've got some talent.
Tannehill doesn't seem like the guy to get them anywhere further than what they've gone.
No, Tannehill seems like a guy that should go to the Packers and mentor Jordan Love. Sit on the bench. He's at that point. He's almost out to pasture.
Yeah, I would say another guy, Matt Ryan, right?
Well, for sure.
Out there, right?
Hands down, he's the out to pasture guy that needs to just mentor Jordan. But, yeah, Tennessee, I mean, that could be, to your point, Nordy, go there.
Nordy.
It's catching on.
It is.
They've got they got some pieces there, and, it's much easier to transition than going somewhere where you don't know who's protecting you. You don't know if you have talent around you. So we'll see.
At what point in the draft, I imagine it's not the first round, but it says the pick is in and they're in commercial break. Who was drafted? I think that was an NBA pick now that I'm thinking about it. But I think it was Nikola Jokic, the two-time MVP. He was drafted while they were in a commercial break while a Taco Bell commercial was playing. So they just, popped it on the bottom line.
I think Brad and I were
probably both commercial
in that
breaks.
theme, and then just go, hey, here's the last 10 picks, and we're listed.
Yeah,
boom, boom,
that'll
boom.
happen later on. I imagine they don't do that in a top 10 pick, but Atlanta's pick is in. We will wait to see who they snag up here. Jalen Carter listed as Mel Kiper Jr.'s best available, although Bijan Robinson, he has him listed number 2 overall on the list I have in front of me, so nothing makes sense.
Well, running backs are hard to take.
He'll be a first-round pick, though.
Oh, I got you.
And I don't know if he'll be on the board before the Packers pick.
Yeah, but there's so much depth at running back. I don't know. I would never say never, but I don't know.
I am starting to believe Christian Gonzalez from Oregon, the corner, is going to drop to 13. And that's my favorite player in the draft. I will go bananas if that's who the Packers take.
If there's a can't-miss guy, he's in that conversation.
Gonzalez, absolutely. But Skoronski would be, too. And if they're both on the board, man.
Could you imagine if Smith and Jigba, Skoronski, and Gonzalez are all available? Now, that would be
it won't happen,
that would
but
be a 10-minute.
I don't know what I would do.
That would be a conversation. I would love to be in the war room for that.
I don't know what I'd do.
You'd get guys, fists on the table. We got to go with XYZ. It would be exciting.
So we await the Falcons' pick, but we do have some trade news coming up here at pick number 9, where the Chicago Bears were slated to pick. I will tell you what that is in a second, but there's music being played. I don't know what's going on at the draft right now. Roger Goodell on the podium. We await the pick for the Atlanta Falcons at number 8. And I believe he is introducing, it looks like Big Brothers Big Sisters is doing something very neat. So, they always do the cool community initiatives at the draft, and different people get to be introduced. Actually, Taushi, who we just had on, was telling a story this morning how he was a guest picker at one of the NFL drafts a couple of years back, and he got to pick Kingsley Keke, who's no longer in the league, I don't believe. He was on Houston last year, but nonetheless.
I love that they do this and
I
give
do
these
too.
guys opportunities like this. What a thrill this would be for this young man.
And here we go. Who did the Falcons take at 8? They take Bijan Robinson. There he goes. The running back from Texas goes at number 8. There you go, Tarek. Running backs in the first round.
I mean, Henry obviously is a freak.
Mark Ingram was early, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
Trent Richardson was a number 3 overall.
Yeah.
And he didn't last very long.
Yeah.
Zeke was pretty high up there, too. He's a first-round draft pick.
I believe you're right on that, yeah.
But in the same
I think
vein.
Zeke was
He was
had
high.
the merit for it.
Saquon was a top 5 pick.
Saquon definitely is a.
As long as he can stay healthy, it's certainly worth it.
I haven't seen Texas enough. I don't know. Texas is like.
I recommend
underwhelms
YouTubing
everybody.
Bijan Robinson. He's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
So give me who is he compared to?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I saw him interviewed, and he asked about, how is he as a running back? How would he describe his game? He said, I'm a weapon.
Yeah.
How about that for
Well, look at that outfit he's rocking. He's wearing like a button at the top. The abs are out. 5'11", 215. Bijan Robinson absolutely shredded.
we're
Here we go.
watching right
Elusive is the word that pops out. Hits a gap there. A good little spin move at the line.
Wow. Oh, my.
Oh, good face mask there. That wasn't called, but nonetheless. Good stiff arm nonetheless.
If you can use him like Debo, right, where you can put him in the backfield, you can put him in the slot, that becomes a very hard individual to stop.
Yeah, the slot. That's the Aaron Jones factor. That's why Aaron Jones is different type of cat.
Yeah,
because he's dynamic like that. Here we go. Here's his pass catching.
Real quick, we have a trade at number 9. Chicago has traded out of pick 9 back to pick 10 with Philadelphia, who originally had pick 10. So they just pick swap 9 and 10. So Philly, the reigning NFC champions, are on the clock at number 9 overall. Chicago moves back to pick number 10. So just keep that in mind here as we await the Eagles pick.
As I watch here, being a dynamic back, being able to play in the slot and be a receiver and do all these different things, that changes the game in terms of wide receiver, not just a running back.
Yeah. Your point is taken, though, because, as I say, Zeke was taken first round. Well, Tony Pollard was taken, third round, fifth round?
Yeah, later.
Something like that,
Yeah.
and he is incredibly explosive. So they're there. You don't have to reach for a running back. Now, there are unique talents like Bijan Robinson.
Well, Aaron Jones and the former running back that went to Detroit were both
Jamal Williams,
middle round picks.
Yeah, they were 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th, if my memory serves correct.
That's why, with my point, that I would not take a running back early. But
that makes
unless
sense.
you have a uniquely qualified guy, but maybe this guy. He's the only running back on the board, right? The first round.
No, you're right. We will hit Philadelphia's pick next. We will hit Chicago's pick next. And screw it. Let's call Jim Rutledge. We'll be joined by Jim Rutledge, the Bears fan, next. It's the Great Dane Huddle Draft Edition, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg.
The Great Dane Huddle continues next on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Ben Bruce here for my favorite racetrack in North America, and that is Road America. Race fans, it's time to make your summer plans for fast family fun at Elkhart Lakes Road America. Experience 9 major races from vintage weekends to high-thrill NASCAR racing at the best NASCAR track in America. Bring the entire family for more affordable fun with on-site camping, free parking, and most of all, free admission for kids 16 and younger. See the full race schedule at roadamerica.com. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
Jim Rutledge here to tell you about North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. North and South serves authentic wood-fired barbecue as well as savory seafood for both lunch and dinner. Whether it's North and South in DeForest, Verona, or the west side of Madison, you'll enjoy the best smart casual dining experience in the area. They also have takeout and catering options, so find your way over to North and South Seafood and Smokehouse, the official barbecue place of Rutledge and Hamilton. They're online at eatnorthandsouth.com.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Bryce Young, he's been this size his whole life. His whole life, all he's been told about is, oh, you're a little bit on the smaller side. But this dude has found ways to maneuver, to get out of the pocket, and he has incredible accuracy. I do think the right fit would help, but I do see him getting a second contract and being a franchise quarterback.
I think Bryce Young will be excellent.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN. Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or visit metrokiaofmadison.com.
Looking to make an impact in your community? Consider applying to become a mentor with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County currently serves nearly 500 children and has over 200 waiting to be matched with a mentor like you. No skills are required, just a desire to make a difference in the lives of children. Make a big impact. Volunteer today at bbbsmadison.org to complete your application. That's bbbsmadison.org. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County. Together, we are defenders of potential.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly. Get on board. Get on board.
The end of an era.
And if Aaron just said, listen, it's Jordan's time to play, he's ready to go. You guys are ready to move to him. I still want to keep playing. All of this would have been null and void.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
The Great Dane Huddle rolls on live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. Alex Strouf, former draftees Tarek Saleh and Brad Nortman. Norty are with me, and there he goes. I figured that's why Philly was trading out. Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle from Georgia, goes to the reigning NFC champs, so they beef up that D-line a little bit more.
Well, they lost their best D lineman in free agency, I think, with the San Francisco. And then bring this guy in. Big pick.
Yeah, it's a big pick.
Yeah, it is.
You mean shore up the middle of your defensive line, and you're already a really solid, rock-solid defense from a year ago. They signed Jalen Hurts this offseason. Man, this is going to be a fun team.
And yeah, I mean, talk about really taking a strength and continuing to make it strong. I mean, they're the most physical offensive and defensive line in the league last year. So to bring in a guy like this, keep him on a rookie contract, let him throw some guys around in the middle, man, the Eagles, they're going to be a tough out in the NFC next year. I mean, they got to be. I know that San Francisco is a sexy pick too, but man,
for sure,
the Eagles have to be going in as the NFC favorite, which is cool.
All right, well, here we go. Look who's on the clock, and look who already has the pick in. Chicago Bears. They're here to break my heart because they're going to pick Christian Gonzalez from Oregon, aren't they? My favorite prospect in the draft is going to go to the Chicago Bears. We welcome in the residential Bears fan at this point, the former host of this program, our buddy Jim Rutledge, who you hear weekdays 2 to 4 on Rutledge and Hamilton here on ESPN Madison. Jim, are the Bears about to break my heart and pick Christian Gonzalez?
Or is it Jackson Smith Najigba? That could be the guy
no.
too. You give too many weapons for a guy like Justin Fields. I don't know what they're going to do. They clearly didn't like Jalen Carter because they clearly knew that the Eagles were going to take Jalen Carter there. So those red flags, which wasn't surprising to me hearing everything I heard about Jalen Carter, didn't seem to fit and vibe with the Bears as far as a lack of passion for football were some of the thoughts and concerns out there. So I don't think it was very shocking that they moved on and didn't take Carter.
What's draft night look like for a hardworking father of two like yourself, Jim Rutledge? What are you doing tonight?
I got the kids to bed. I was helping my wife out cleaning the bathroom in the master bedroom because that's where I was watching the draft. And then you guys called.
Wait, hold on. You were watching the draft in the bathroom in the master bedroom?
No, in the master bedroom. I was cleaning the bathroom in the commercial breaks to be helpful.
I follow.
So that's how the evening goes for me. Also, I was shocked. A Badger connection with the first overall pick.
What's the connection? No, I don't.
Thomas Brown is the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. Thomas Brown was the Badgers running backs coach. with Gary Anderson.
Oh,
He
really?
was brought in. Yeah. He wasn't here very long, but he was here. He was brought in to do it.
Interesting.
Former running back for Georgia.
I'm incredibly nervous for what's coming from the Bears here. I'm kind of freaking out a little
I honestly
bit.
thought they were going to trade. When you texted me saying that you're going to call me, I kind of feel like there's another trade coming, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, the pick is already in, so I don't think so.
Are they taking
Oh, it's in.
Skronsky?
Okay.
What are they taking, Jimmy?
Yeah, real quick. Who would be your dream pick right here?
Honestly, I'd probably say Gonzalez is a pretty sweet pick.
Yeah. He would be.
Jackson Smith would be really good, too. Skronsky's a safe pick. Like, he dominated at left tackle at Northwestern. I think he can play right tackle in the NFL. The Bears need that. In worst-case scenario, he kicks inside, and now they have a all-pro guard like Quentin Nelson for the future.
What'd you call him earlier today, Jim? T-Rex arm Skronsky?
Well, I don't call him, but yes, he apparently has small arms, much like Brian Bulaga and others. I don't know the proportion size, but yes, it is funny. But it's small arms for a left tackle, but like good size arms for a guard. And
Tarek, can you bring this guy back down a little bit?
Jimmy Rutledge, man. We go way back.
Yeah.
So tell me about the Colts pick. What about that with Richardson? Is that
Anthony Richardson? Yeah.
Is that a big reach?
Yeah. Man, that's just a big swing pick. I mean, he's everything that the Packers took a big swing for Jordan Love, but he was viewed as like the overall fourth best prospect at quarterback position when he was drafted. The Colts are taking a big swing on a high tools guy, a guy that has everything that you could ever want out of a quarterback. And obviously, the Colts are saying the problem was the Florida Gators offensive coordinator, because Richardson, I believe, scored a pretty incredibly high score on this new, basically the new version of the Wonderlic test, where they talk about how fast you can process things, and he was right behind Bryce Young, and Bryce Young set like a record for it. So he seems to be very smart, and I think it's really about, and it seems like nowadays coaches are willing to coach accuracy. You can't coach playmaking, and you can't coach quick processing. He has those two things, so it's just about him getting his footwork set and getting that consistent, and then he could be a dominant quarterback in this league.
Of the next four picks,
and their head coach is from Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken, so that would be Jalen Hurts type model.
There you go. We're talking with Jim Rutledge here on the Great Dane Huddle. Alex Strouf, Brad Nortman, Tarek Saleh with you from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. 3 of the next 4 picks impact the NFC North. Pick 10 is Chicago. Pick 11 currently Tennessee. Pick 12 Detroit. And, of course, the pick we're all waiting for, except Jim Rutledge, pick number 13, the Green Bay Packers, as they show on ESPN the Philadelphia Draft Party. The pick has been in. Jimmy.
Do you think the Packers are picking at 13? I don't think the Packers pick
as of now, I do. If Gonzalez falls, if Smith and Jigba's still there, if Skronsky falls, I think all of those are appealing picks for the Green Bay Packers. As Roger Goodell taking the stage. Let's listen together, Jimmy. Here's the pick.
Career starts 20.
Well, never mind. They already made it, but the TV is behind. So here we go. It is Darnell Wright, the offensive tackle from Tennessee. That's sexy, Jim.
Yeah, it is. That's a guy that is a true right tackle, and a guy that's been climbing up the draft boards, and a guy that is going to slot in to start day one. They drafted their starting left tackle last year with the 5th-round pick, I believe, with Braxton Jones, and now they have their starting left tackle on a rookie deal. They have a starting right tackle on a rookie deal. They're continuing to invest in Justin Fields. And so that continues to show they believe in him. I would imagine that for the rest of this draft, you're going to see a lot of defensive players because they don't really have, as bad as the Packers, for example, are on the wide receiver side of things. The Bears' D-line kind of looks like that. So I would imagine there will be a lot of picks tomorrow in that D-line spot. But obviously Jalen Carter was someone they didn't trust, and this guy is a prototypical right tackle, played right tackle in college. There's no projection. He's that guy.
You said that this pick reflects that the Bears, that they trust and they like Justin Fields. Do you think that he's the guy?
I do. Look, it's still, he's got to make a step forward, and so his numbers were very, very similar to Jalen Hurts from year 2, and this is Justin Fields' second year as a starter, and he didn't start a ton the first year, and he switched coaches. But his numbers were very close to Jalen Hurts and not that far off of Josh Allen's as far as passing. So this is the year for him. He needs to make a jump. But Chicago has invested DJ Moore into him. They have invested offensive line money into him. They signed a right guard as well. So now they have, looks like, at least 2 new starters on their offensive line next year. And that offensive line was pretty terrible. And they invested some money in the running back position. They let David Montgomery leave, but they also invested and brought in some other running backs. So I do think that, look, I'm as confident in him as you can be in anyone. He has not shown enough to say that he's a franchise guy, but he has shown enough that he's not that far from taking a leap to be that Jalen Hurts type or Josh Allen type quarterback next year.
And Jim, he won the locker room, right? I mean, the guys, they love him, right? He's got all the intangibles, from what I understand.
Yes, and that's not easy to do when he's got a defensive-minded coach in Coach Eberflus who wants a guy who, to Tarek, he wants the sensibilities that you'd want in a quarterback. And by all accounts, Justin Fields is that dude, is what most people say about him. He is a hard worker. He is never frantic, never scared, never looks out of his comfort zone in the huddle, is what I hear. From when he's playing, he's always in control. He's always working hard. He's always even keel. He's working with receivers, whether it's down in Florida or Ohio, wherever he is doing that stuff. He is reaching out to DJ Moore the second that trade is done. And Ryan Poles, their GM, and Ian Cunningham, their assistant GM, are both former offensive linemen. They know what they want to see in a great quarterback. Cunningham coming from the Eagles with Jalen Hurts, and then Poles seeing Patrick Mahomes. They know that it factor for that quarterback, and they know that Justin has it. So, and look, even their quarterback coach, their offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, who was here with Aaron Rodgers, said that Fields has all the intangibles. So it's really about Fields getting better as a passer, and he wasn't horrendous as a passer. He just was inconsistent as a passer. He had some of the best wow throws you can see in the NFL, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL last year, is throwing the ball down the field deep. It was the short routes and the middle routes that were throwing him off, but he was a great downfield passer last year.
Well, Jim, you've got your right tackle in Darnell Wright from Tennessee. We appreciate you hanging out with us a little bit. We will see, man. I'm a little bit scared of what the Bears could be with Justin Fields. He seems like he could be it. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks for having me.
That's Jim Rutledge. Weekdays, 2 to 4, Rutledge and Hamilton.
Bears talking time. I think we have a certain allotment.
Yeah, we went way over. We went way over. We're going to try to connect with Jason Wilde next as we approach pick number 13. You can see Green Bay is in the hole as the Tennessee Titans pick number 11 is in. When we come back, we're not taking another break until after the Packers pick or if they trade out of the pick. It's go time, baby. The Great Dane Huddle draft coverage rolls on right after this.
Reaction to the football weekend continues next. This is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Hi, this is Brian Posick, and I can't wait for Mark Osiki's 5th annual Casting for Kids Fishing Tournament, Saturday, May 20th on the Madison Chain of Lakes to benefit the American Family Children's Hospital and the UW Carbone Cancer Center. Check in at the Alliant Energy Center at 7 a.m. Fishing starts at 8, happy hour at 2:30, then dinner and auction at 3:30. It's a great day for fishing and fundraising on Saturday, May 20th. Register now and check out the online auction at castingforkids.org. That's casting4kids.org.
This week on Sunday Night Baseball, we head to Houston, Texas for a World Series rematch as the defending champion Astros welcome the Philadelphia Phillies. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
You don't want it, I want to own it. And if you want me,
and there goes the Packers connection. Peter Skoronski of Northwestern goes number 11 to the Tennessee Titans, which means the Packers are one pick away from selecting in this year's NFL draft. It's the great Dane Huddle. I'm Alex Strouf alongside former draftees Brad Nortman and Tarek Saleh. Oh, boy, am I getting antsy. The Detroit Lions on the clock at number 12. The Packers coming up next, and Christian Gonzalez is still on the board. I am so darn excited. And I know. For all of you naysayers texting in, I see them and tweeting in and YouTubing in. The Packers don't need a cornerback. I understand that. But you can never have enough good cornerbacks on your team. And we don't know what Eric Stokes is coming off an ACL. We know what Jair is. But, man, Christian Gonzalez, to me, and look, this is all projection. You're just guessing. You're taking bites at the apple. To me, is going to be a superstar. That's what I think. I love Christian Gonzalez. I think he can cover man, he can cover zone, he can do it all, inside, outside. I just think he is so impressive.
My only criticism about him, he's not that physical.
Sure.
But I think your counter to me would be he locks anybody down.
Correct. And it will be interesting to see at the next level, Tarek, like how he would deal with a big-bodied receiver, maybe like a DeAndre Hopkins, right? But I really think – but you have Jair, right? Think about that cornerback room if you add a guy like Christian Gonzalez, who I just think is terrific. So we'll see.
If he's available and they don't take him, will you be upset? Depending on who they take?
No, if they take a tight end or a wide receiver, because I think those are bigger needs than obviously cornerback. But
I think they trade out of it.
The Lions have wasted no time.
No.
The pick is in for Detroit right ahead of Green Bay here at number 12. And as mentioned, the last couple picks, Chicago picked at 10. They took Darnell Wright from Tennessee, the offensive tackle. Another offensive lineman goes 11 to Tennessee, Peter Skoronski. So could that be an indication of where things are headed, right? The offensive linemen start to fall off the board a little bit, but there's not a ton left. Broderick Jones from Georgia is the only other offensive lineman that's really heavily regarded, in the top maybe 20 prospects that's available. So could the Lions go O-line? Could they go quarterback with Will Levis? It's going to be interesting to see. This could be Christian Gonzalez. He could stay in the NFC North, which would make me very, very sad.
How about that? That would be 2 cornerbacks in a row for NFC North opponents, trying to lock down these different receivers out there.
The pick is in. Goodell on the stage. Where do the Lions go? What? They took a running back at 12 overall. Jameer Gibbs from Alabama goes number 12. Does DeAndre Swift still exist?
Wow.
What is going on here?
That is a shocker.
Whoa! As Jameer Gibbs, who a lot of people like him, don't get me wrong, and he's a very good running back and a really solid season at Alabama, but I did not see that coming at number 12 overall. But with that said, fellas, the Green Bay Packers are on the clock.
Wow.
With lots of options. Lots of options.
All right, so just to recap, my favorite prospect in the draft, Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback from Oregon, is available. Will Levis, the quarterback from Kentucky,
That would be a shocker.
is available.
That would-
Dalton Kincaid, the tight end from Utah, is available. Jackson Smith and Jigba, the wide receiver from Ohio State, is available. What will Brian Gutekunst and the Green Bay Packers do at pick number 13? You're with us. We're going to find out together here on the Great Dane Huddle. I'm Alex Strouf, Brad Nortman, Tarek Saleh with you from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. Let's take some stabs at it. Brad Nortman, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba. This is the guy that all along I thought would be the best pick for them.
Yeah.
Everything about what I hear is just he's going to be an elite NFL receiver and just give Jordan Love more weapons, more wide receivers, everything that you can do to help him feel comfortable. Jackson Smith and Jigba. If you would have told me the Packers were walking away with him, I would have said, do it.
Well, what's the old saying, Brad, right? You do for the next guy as you wouldn't for the last guy. The Packers haven't selected a wide receiver in the first round since Javon Walker, right?
Wow.
I mean, when they needed a wide receiver in the first round, they picked Jordan Love in 2020, and they went defense in 21 and 22 for Aaron Rodgers. Maybe they'll do it for Jordan Love here with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Tarek Saleh, what do you think the Packers do here at pick number 13?
God, I'm debating between offensive tackle and the defensive end, Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah.
Another guy to
Iowa,
to complement Rashawn. But I don't know. I also feel like you trade down, but there's a lot of, that receiver is definitely attractive.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Man, they're taking their time here.
Yeah, they really are. Under 4 minutes left on the clock here for the Packers. And I don't blame them, man. This is a tricky situation. I would not trade back if I was the Packers. You have your pick of the litter right here, right? Christian Gonzalez, who I've said all week, I love him. I don't expect him to be there at 13 is there, which really throws a wrench into my plans. But who knows? The pick is in for the Green Bay Packers. But we are in a commercial break on ESPN TV, so it'll be a little bit before we find out who the Packers select. I am so amped up. That means the Packers are picking at 13, by the way, no trade. What are they going to do?
I think there's a lot of talent in this draft.
There is.
I mean, I don't know.
Man, I tell you what, I gave Tausch the analogy of reach and safety school. I think they got a whole bunch of reaches that they can go for. That guys that they did not think were going to be here.
Yeah.
That you look at and say, same way if you put your application into Harvard and they say, oh my gosh, I got in, it's an option. There are a lot of guys. There are a lot of guys on this list that could be Harvards for the Packers. So,
Nordy, the analogy king.
come on now. So I don't know. I'm eager to see. And I'm almost wondering, the pick has gone semi-predictable, the different picks in the draft so far. The Lions one most recently was the most recent strange pick. It almost shook me out of my mentality of expectation here. That what if the Packers go with a weird pick? Kind of what I asked Jason Wilde. What if they pick someone that's out of the ordinary? You never know. That's what makes reading names so exciting. You just do not know what the commissioner is going to say next.
Oh, my goodness. We are waiting on the arrival of the commissioner to see who it is for the Green Bay Packers at pick number 13. Will it be a wide receiver? Will it be a tight end? Will it be defense? Brian Gutekunst has been the general manager of the Packers for 5 drafts, not counting this one. He has made 7 first-round selections. 6 of those picks have been defense. The only offensive player Brian Gutekunst has selected in the first round, well, his name is Love. The other 6 selections he's made in the first round have been defense. 3 of those 6 picks have been from the University of Georgia, ironically enough. So it's 50% of his defensive picks. My goodness, am I getting impatient?
Belichick was notorious or famous for, saying, hey, I win between the 2nd and 5th round.
Yeah.
That's where I get my guys. If I get a guy in the first round that is that difference maker, that's great. But that's where – and he'd always load up on those middle picks. Now, he had Brady to lean on.
Right.
But he built a really big core. I know it's not sexy, Strofer, but, loading up those picks in the round, that's how you win championships.
Well, here we go. Back in Kansas City as we await the commissioner and Hunter Vaughn back in the ESPN Madison studios. I'm just telling you, when he's on the stage, you just turn it up. I'll shut up until the pick is made. Oh, boy. I am very, very nervous.
Darkness has set.
I do not want them to screw this up as the Packers moved up 2 picks earlier this week in the Aaron Rodgers trade with the New York Jets. Here's the commissioner.
Where are the Packers going to go at this point? Do they add another receiver? Do they go offensive line or on the defensive side? Let's go and hear from Roger Goodell about what is next in Green Bay, a new era as they move on from Aaron Rodgers.
Here we go. Pick number 13, the Green Bay Packers.
In the 2023 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Lucas Van Ness.
Wow. Lucas Van Ness from Iowa. It's not a bad pick, but Goody once again goes defense at defensive end from Iowa. You called it, Tarek. Nicely done. I like Lucas Van Ness. He's a stud. He played really well at Iowa. It's just, once again, very on brand for Brian Gutekunst. Not the very sexy pick that maybe Packers fans have longed for and wanted, because he's not he's not a wide receiver, a tight end. But he's in Wisconsin, is Lucas Van Ness. He's in Fontana, Wisconsin. I have no idea where the hell that is, but little Wisconsin ties then. That's good.
Wow. I'm surprised.
I'm too.
I'm surprised. Man.
He's big, 6'5", 272, defensive end.
Yeah,
Big Ten guy, Big Ten football.
Look, and Iowa produces some really great talent, particularly in the trenches. This is a guy that I look at, and it's probably no chance he busts, right? He's just going to go in there. He'll make plays. You probably put him in there right away and make an immediate contribution. It's just not. It's not what you were hoping for. Not what I was hoping for. I know that much.
Well, right. I mean, I think we all were hoping for a sexy splash pick that would help Jordan Love, because the wide receiver room consists of Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Samori Toure, and other people you've never heard of. The tight end room consists of Josiah DeGuara and Tyler Davis, who I don't think Tyler has heard of Tyler Davis.
That's the tight end room?
That's tight end room. That's it. And they go defense. Again, eight picks in the first round for Brian Gutekunst in 6 drafts. 7 of his 8 picks have been defense. The only offensive pick he's made in the first round is Jordan Love.
Wow.
It's crazy.
He must be seeing some things out of their offensive weapons that we're not seeing. Alternatively, they're just confident in the rounds you were talking about, rounds 2 through 5, the depth of the tight end room. Perhaps there's some more wide receivers they think they can snag in round 2 and 3. We have the two second-round draft picks. Tomorrow night will be a very important night.
Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, the Packer defense, particularly the front 7, they needed another boost, something, leadership. I don't know if they see the character in the guys, the toughness. They weren't very tough. I know Campbell was hurt. Devontae Campbell, and I think Quay Walker was kind of like always chasing. He was always step behind. Yeah. And you got to give him confidence, because he has the ability to be a great linebacker. You just can't be the leader right away. I think he's going to grow into that. And that defense needed to be bolstered. Already sneezed a little bit. God bless him.
Thank you.
I mean, I think that's the take, is that this guy's going to help stable that front 7.
Yeah, I really thought this was the year they were going to make a sexy splash in the first round.
Your guy, Gonzalez, you got Stokes, right? I get the ACL.
No, right. Gonzalez, I didn't expect him to be here in the first place. I'm fine it wasn't Gonzalez, but really, Tarek, what I'm shocked by is that Goody understands his legacy pick is Jordan Love, right? And Jordan Love is going to be the starting cornerback for the Green Bay Packers in 2023. Who the hell is he going to throw the ball to besides Christian Watson? That's what I don't understand, right? And as much as I would have been jumping up and down excited about Christian Gonzalez, I don't know what Goody's going to do to help Jordan Love be a good quarterback in 2023.
Well, it's going to happen here in the second and third and fourth rounds. They got to load up there.
And they've made some great picks over the years, right? Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, et cetera. We're all second-day picks. But year one, Jordan Love needs to look good this year.
He does. He has a much shorter clock than everyone else does. How much do you want to bet that Aaron Rodgers is sitting back with a scotch right now and thinking, typical Packers?
Typical.
They had an opportunity to take Jackson Smith and Jigba, and they pick some unexpected defensive player. Good luck, Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, though, but it's vital. You cannot discount how important it is to have studs in the trenches, right? You see it with San Francisco. You see it with Philadelphia. It is a winning formula. It's just, I am just shocked how much Goody has leaned into that all these drafts, right, of focusing on that in the first round. And every year it becomes more and more of an offensive league. Every year. And to not stockpile weapons when given the opportunity is it's a shock. I would have preferred Smith and Jigba. That's me.
I would have too. I would have preferred offense. Honestly, offensive line. But nonetheless, I'm not gonna sit here and kill the kid, right?
No.
I don't know a ton about him. Lucas Van Ness, 6'5", 275. He's an Illinois guy. Went to high school at Barrington High School in Illinois. Played 3 seasons at the University of Iowa. He redshirted his true freshman season, so he's really only coming off his redshirt sophomore season. He's only 21 years old. Will turn 22 this summer. So he's young. He's big. He's got a great body. He's quick. He was, he's won a couple awards in the Big Ten over the course of his career. I think it's a fine pick. He's a guy that's been, blasting up the draft charts this whole week. But, once again, in typical Brian Gutekunst fashion, it is not the sweet, sexy, savvy pick on the offensive side of the ball that will help your quarterback, as he hasn't made in the last 6 years at the helm of the Packers. That's it. Lucas Van Ness, the defensive end from Iowa, who the Packers selected number 13. We'll continue the reaction right after this. It's the Great Dane Huddle, the Draft Edition, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg.
Reaction to the football weekend continues. This is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Stoughton Health provides comprehensive and compassionate care to Stoughton community and the entire Madison area. From our sports rehab facilities in Oregon and Stoughton to our renowned ortho team with Dr. Ravel, Stoughton Health can help. Learn more at stoughtonhealth.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new career opportunity in Dane County? Look no further. Phase Electric is now hiring electricians of all experience levels. Phase Electric provides competitive top pay, 40-hour work weeks, and full benefit packages for both commercial and residential electricians. To learn more, visit phaseelectric.com. That's PHAZE electric.com. Work with a company that prides themselves on being a phase above the competition. And remember, in order to be the best, you need to work with the best.
Forward Madison FC has kicked off its 2023 season at Breeze Stevens Field. The Flamingos' next USL League One match is on Saturday, April 29th at 5 p.m. against Charlotte Independence. April 29th is also Star Wars night at Breeze Stevens Field, complete with a lightsaber ticket package and even a costume contest at halftime. To purchase tickets, head to forwardmadisonfc.com. Forward Madison, fun for all.
The happy hour at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton is still Madison's best kept secret, so shh. From delicious appetizers to amazing drinks, and of course the ambiance provided by that Horseshoe Bar makes Ruth's Chris Steakhouse a must-go-to. From cocktails with friends, networking happy hours, or just treating the family, and everything in between. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton has everything you're looking for. So the next time you're looking to treat yourself, go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. And remember, it's Madison's best kept secret. Shh.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of the Big Win and Madison Casino Guru, is transforming guests into winners. Making an ordinary day into a big win day is easy with a 95% average payout. And with over 140 daily jackpots, the number of people winning has never been bigger. So what are you waiting for? Escape to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison for your next big win.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Forward Madison FC has kicked off its 2023 season at Breeze Stevens Field. The Flamingos' next USL League One match is on Saturday, April 29th at 5 p.m. against Charlotte Independence. April 29th is also Star Wars night at Breeze Stevens Field, complete with a lightsaber ticket package and even a costume contest at halftime. To purchase tickets, head to forwardmadisonfc.com. Forward Madison, fun for all.
Coming up Friday, we're going to get you ready for Game 6 of the Kings and the Warriors, as well as Grizzlies and Lakers. Plus, we'll react to the NFL Draft. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
The Great Dane Huddle live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. Alex Strouf, former draftees. Brad Nortman, Norty, as Tausche nicknamed him. And Tarek Saleh with me. And we are lucky to be joined now from this time, 1265 Lombardi Avenue, Lambeau Field, by the great Jason Wilde, who you hear weekday mornings alongside Tausche on Wilde and Tausch from 9 to noon. Jason, let's just start with this. Lucas Van Ness is the pick, the defensive end from Iowa. Your reaction is?
Young guy, such a Packers pick. Played at Iowa, lots of potential, scratching the surface of how good he can be. And he plays on defense incredibly. This is their fourth straight first-round pick to be used on defense, and 12th out of their last 13 first-round picks. The only offensive player taken in that group, Jordan Love, in 2020 at number 26. They picked defensive guys, and yet their defense is always not quite good enough, which is a little bit odd.
Yeah, that is a little bit odd. Let's take that sample size down even smaller, though, Jason, right? This is the 6th draft that Brian Gutekunst has been in charge. 7 of his 8 picks have been defense, and this, again, follows suit on that. And I really thought this was the year they would do to the next guy as they didn't for the last, and they would go offense. So now my question is, who the hell is Jordan Love going to throw the ball to next year?
Bo Melton and Jeff Cotton were the other 2 wide receivers that are on their roster besides the 3 that were drafted. I mean, look, this is, again, it extends the streak now. 2002, the last time they drafted a wide receiver in the first round, in Javon Walker. I mean, this is what they do. Goody, I think, really liked this guy. I'm not surprised that they took him at all. He was on my list, which, you know, I'm not always right, and I don't always have the guy that they actually pick on my list, but this one certainly is. This is not a surprise pick. It fills a need. They not only is Rashawn Gary coming off of an ACL, but, you know, I didn't think Preston Smith had a great year last year. I don't expect him to be with this team beyond this season, kind of like David Bakhtiari. And so, you know, they had some other options, to be sure, but once again, choosing a defensive player instead of an offensive skill position player.
So, Jason, are you saying this guy, is he an outside linebacker, or is he like a 4-eye technique defensive end?
Yeah, so they played him inside and outside, but on the defensive line. We'll hear what Goody has to say here coming up, but he projects as an edge rusher. He projects as an outside linebacker. Now, look, he's 272 pounds. He's 6'5". So, you know, they play a lot of sub packages, and you know this, having played defense and gotten after the quarterback, at least before you became a fullback. You know, it's tomato, right? Like defensive end, outside linebacker, they're basically the same when you're in a sub package. So I think this pick really makes sense. They have to have somebody that can get after the quarterback, though. And if you look at their defense, I know people like to point out that they simplified things and made it a little bit simpler and easier for their defense. They also had to blitz more after Rashawn Gary got hurt. They needed to generate pass rush without him. Adding Van Ness certainly gives them a guy that's capable of that.
Jason, before the pick, I asked, you know, what are the odds that the Packers go with a guy that's, I use the term sort of brand name, and I don't know if this falls into that category, but what are the odds that we're surprised by this pick and we don't go with a guy who is, you know, that's just been peppering the different mock drafts out there? Does this count? Does this count as a guy that is a surprise to you? Or is this, you know what, this is sort of in the wheelhouse of possibilities that you anticipated?
This is a total Packers pick, right? I mean, this is like, you know, I thought that there was a chance, and I know the Jets pick is in. I don't know if it's been announced yet, but not. I thought there was a chance that they would go wide receiver, because even if you're excited about those guys they have now, they still need more receivers. And they didn't. They went defense, and I'm not surprised in the least.
Do you think the Jets will pick Jackson Smith and Njigba?
I hope so, because that makes things interesting, that's for sure.
I think that's what's going to happen. The pick is in, but it has not been announced yet. Go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
Yeah, look, the Packers have, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night, but they need weapons still.
Yeah.
They definitely need passing game weapons. And so, you know, they've got to get a tight end tomorrow. in my opinion. And they had the 3 top tight ends all come in for visits. This does feel like it's really early to pick a tight end. So I'm anxious to see who the Jets take, because they did need an offensive tackle. And if you look at who has gone in this draft, Paris Johnson Jr., gone. Darnell Wright, gone. Peter Skoronski, gone. And then Broderick Jones went in that 14th pick, which was in between the pick that the Jets had and the pick that the Jets have after the pick swap. So if Joe Douglas was really hoping to get a left tackle that could plug and play, it would appear, and I don't know, maybe they've picked somebody that I didn't have in the top 5. Maybe they go that here, but I don't think so. I think the best tackles to be taken are already off the board.
Well, here you go, Jason. We'll let you go on the note of who the Jets picked. It is Will McDonald IV from Iowa State, the outside linebacker.
Well, so Aaron Rodgers can't get a first-round wide receiver no matter who he plays.
No matter where he goes, he just can't get what he wants. Jason, talking to Goody. We'll be keeping an eye on that, and we'll listen to you tomorrow morning, 9 to noon, with Tausche on Wilde and Tausch. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
take
Wilde.
care. Be good.
It's the great Jason Wilde awaiting the arrival of Brian Gutekunst to the podium as we await more arrival of Roger Goodell to the podium to read more names, which Brad Nortman, Norty, just loves. We've got another hour left of this program. We got a lot more reaction. It's now your time to get in. 844-770-3776. You fired up about Lucas Van Ness? You pissed off about Lucas Van Ness? We want to hear from you on the text line, on the call line. Whatever you got, bring it for us. 844-770-3776. It's the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg.
Spring into a new deal at Metro Kia of Madison. With 78 new vehicles on the lot and offers like 2.9% APR financing for 48 months on the 23 Fortes and sold, $22.30 per 1,000 borrowed, now is the time to buy. Receive a $500 Visa gift card and 2 years no-charge maintenance is included with new vehicle purchases. 90 days deferred payments available to qualified credit. The deals are at Metro Kia of Madison. Learn more at metrokiaofmadison.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm Vice President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
A wide array of opportunities abound at Waste Management.
They do whatever they can to make sure that you're set up for success, both within the career and just in your personal life as well. The benefits that are offered here are honestly some of the most insane benefits that I've ever seen. They're paying for people to go to college. They invest in the employees as human beings. I've never seen anything like that.
Join the Waste Management family. Just search online, Waste Management Careers.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Hey, this is Eric Name of The Athletic. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Everybody, huddle up. Live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, this is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN. With former Badger and NFL punter Brad Nortman and Rose Bowl champions Tarek Saleh and Derek Engler, here's Alex Strouf.
All right, hour 4 of the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. I'm Alex Strouf alongside former Badger and NFL punter Brad Nortman, alongside the all-time sacks leader at the University of Wisconsin, former NFL, what would now be referred to as an edge rusher, and fullback, Tarek Saleh. At night. Edge rusher by day, fullback by night.
I'm fluid, dude. Whatever it takes. Just don't cut me.
You're not fluid. You're talented.
Oh,
you're
well,
multi-talented.
Just don't cut me. That's my deal.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That would be at back of my jersey. Don't cut me. Man.
Yeah, right. Don't hate me. No, don't cut me for Tarek Saleh. So we were talking a little bit off the air, fellas, and Tarek, you made the comment, which you're correct with. The Packers have done great in the middle rounds, right? Traditionally and historically, they have done really well in the mid rounds.
Yep.
Because I was probably bitching a little bit too much about how they didn't draft a wide receiver. I had a conversation with a buddy of mine last night that's sticking in my head right now, and that was essentially Goody would not be on the hot seat this year if they went 3-14, and he was making the case he would be. And I said he'll be able to see the rebuild through, right? Like Jordan Love's his guy, but he has nobody to throw to. And my buddy responds to me, well, whose fault is that? I said, well, that's actually a very good point. If Jordan Love looks bad, is that on Goody? Or is that on Jordan Love?
Well, I do think he's got 2 years. I think it's not this year. It's next year. And I was arguing this. Jesse Nelson and I were taking, I think, Rutledge's spot. And I'm like, if you're him, you almost want to get rid of Aaron so that you could claim this rebuild in order to buy yourself a couple more years.
Yeah.
Because if you keep Aaron and you come up in the same spot you did last year, it's just underwhelming because you're going all in again and you're not getting it done, and it'd be easy to fire him. Now it's hard to fire him because you're like, hey, it's a rebuild, and Love's got this, and all of a sudden he's not the guy. I mean, are you going to hold him accountable to that, or are you going to, I just think he's got at least 2 years. Love can't be a 1 year deal with Love. It's got to be 2 years. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, he's been in the building for 3 years already. So I do think that the normal patience level that you have with a quarterback, you not have with Jordan Love. Now, with that being said, I don't think there's an expectation that he is out there and he's playing at a top 10 quarterback level, right? I just don't think that's the case. He's going to go through ups and downs. But I do think that the timeline for him to say, okay, like let's see something on the field has shrunk considerably to just someone that was drafted tonight, let's say, and say, let's see something. I would say, and a Packers rebuild, it shouldn't look like a 3-14 type of year. Like the way this team is built, the Packers rebuild should be like a 500 year, right?
So similarly to what they were last year.
I'm really concerned though by that because you have an offensive line that's questionable.
Interior especially, right?
There's no tight ends.
There's no wide receivers.
Who's the wide receiver?
Christian Watson's the number one. And I love Christian Watson. I think he's going to be a really nice piece. Romeo Dobbs, who they drafted last year in mid-round.
Still a work in progress.
Samori Toure was a 7th-round pick last year. Okay. And then the guys that Jason Wilde mentioned who I've never heard of. Bo Melton, somebody else.
Yeah. So they are a 500 team right now.
Yeah.
At best.
At best. And Brad, I love the optimism, but look, I like Jordan Love. I really like that pick in 2020. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I'm not going to sit here and tell you.
I don't like the pick, but I'm encouraged about I don't think that I would never have done, looking back, I would not have taken that pick.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
I'm just saying that I don't see this as a 3-win football team. They're not so depleted that they're just going to come out there and just get run over like some of these terrible teams like we see at the top of the draft pick tonight. I just don't see that. I don't see that as far as
sweat.
What is going on?
I'm a little worried.
Sorry, total side note. Washington just picked Emmanuel Forbes, the cornerback from Mississippi State. What's going on with Christian Gonzalez?
I think they think he's soft.
Why is my guy free fall?
They heard you liked him, and they said, oh, my gosh, we got to run.
Yeah, and Jackson Smith and Jigba still hasn't been picked. I mean, this is shaking out weirder than I thought. And the draft always does, right?
Will Levis is shaping up to be another Aaron Rodgers. Right here.
He's free falling because nobody coming up needs a quarterback, right? Like, let's look at the next couple picks. New England's here at 17 as they traded with Pittsburgh earlier for pick number 14. New England doesn't need a quarterback unless they go Levis here, but I think they still like Mac Jones. There were some rumors in the offseason, and they quickly enter the pick. there was some talks in the offseason they didn't like Mac Jones and they wanted to trade him, and he kind of lost the locker room. But I don't think that's a Belichickian move to draft Will Levis here at 17.
Nope.
At 18, they have Goff, which is Detroit. The Detroit Lions are at 18. They have Goff. Tampa Bay could go quarterback at 19, maybe. But that's really the only spot I could see Levis falling in the next 3 picks.
First statement.
Wow, I am blown away. I'm blown away. It is the Great Dane Huddle, special draft night edition. Your way in is 844-770-3776. Thomas and Madison on the text line says, I am very whelmed by this pick. Not overwhelmed, not underwhelmed, just whelmed. I don't really know what that means. Is whelmed by itself have a meaning?
He's voice texting or something. I don't know.
Whelmed. I don't think that's a word. But I know what the thing is, I'm not sure it's a word, but I know what he's saying. It's the same thing as Wildy.
It's just meh?
Yeah, it's just like, this is what you should expect.
So,
right? This is how they build the team.
Go back to your Gonzalez guy. Sorry to get off the tangent, but I watched some of the highlights. I watched him, and I'm like, oh wow, athlete, really covers well, all that stuff. But then I watched Witherspoon from Illinois, and I'm like, dude, that's a dude, man. Like,
he is a dude.
He's like, he's physical.
Well, he picked off Mertz twice this year.
Really?
Yeah. In Paul Chris' final game.
I'm sure he's not alone. There's some other people. But he just seemed like a physical presence, leader, where Gonzalez was very athletic.
Well, here's the New England pick. I imagine it won't be Levis. It is not. There we go. Christian. Bill Belichick. It's Christian Gonzalez. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Bill Belichick just drafted a future Pro Football Hall of Famer in Christian Gonzalez. Oh, damn it.
Classic Belichick.
Damn it. I knew that was coming. That makes sense. I mean, it makes a ton of sense, doesn't it? And now they're going to force us to watch the highlights of what Brian Gutekunst missed out on. I'm sorry. I'm very biased. I love him. Played college ball at Colorado and then transferred over to Oregon. And he is just, man.
Boy, he's tight on those receivers.
Yeah, he gives no space. He's quick. And to Tarek's point, he's not terribly physical, and he doesn't do great, but here's like a big wide receiver when he was playing against Colorado as a member of Oregon. And I don't know, man.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be as physical because he's so tall and rangy, and he runs so well. I mean, and
he's quick.
He looks incredibly instinctive.
He is.
You know?
He is.
He's long levered too.
Yeah,
very smooth.
Man,
what could have been.
Yeah, and he goes to New England of all. Like he could have gone to any other team, Brad.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, it's whatever. It's whatever. Oh man, 844-770-3776. The Packers select defensive end from Iowa. They stay in the Big Ten, and he actually was in Wisconsin when he was picked. Lucas Van Ness up on Lake Geneva. After further research, is where Lucas Van Ness was celebrating. So maybe at like a family cabin or something.
Down on Lake Geneva, Strouf.
Is that south of us?
Yes, that's near the Illinois border.
Wisconsin geography, not my forte, admittedly. Thank you, Hunter.
You're welcome.
As Detroit now on the clock once again, and we will see. So Detroit went Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back, with their first pick up at pick 12, the night started with Houston picking at 12. Then it went to Arizona. Arizona then traded it to Detroit, and Detroit picked a running back in Jahmyr Gibbs. So we'll see what the other NFC North team is. We'll do here at pick number 18. The draft half over now. And, man, I have a feeling the Packers might trade back into the first round.
Now, that would be a thrill.
They have picked 42 and 45 in the second round. You package those together, which doesn't feel very Gutekunst-like, but I also wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. It just depends. It depends on how high they have these guys. We know they need another receiver. We know they need a tight end.
Yeah.
Do they have a third-round draft pick?
Well, they do.
Okay. Can you get a quality tight end in the third round? Potentially,
yeah, because I think
your twos.
That's maybe where a guy like Sam Laporta drops. Yeah. I don't know if he falls that far. That's the Iowa tight end. I don't know if he falls to the third. I don't know. But I don't know. I just feel underwhelmed as a Packers fan. But this is not abnormal for Gutekunst's draft style, right? Like I've never felt like, whoa, that's a home run pick since his very first draft pick, which was Jair Alexander.
I guess I always felt like we were going defense for the Packers draft picks because you have Aaron Rodgers there, and he should be able to cover up all of your blemishes, right? But now he's no longer there, and you would think that you would want to surround your young quarterback with as many weapons is possible. It's obvious. And maybe his whole philosophy is maybe not quite the whole best available type thing, but if the defense is so stout, which I feel like we've been talking about for years, right? Defense should be good. Defense should be good. And it's just they're not awful, but they're not great. They're not great.
Yeah.
If you can be the type of defense that's top 10 and you only need to score 20 points to win a football game, well, I mean, that also makes your job as a quarterback much easier. But it's not the splash you were hoping for.
I think the top of the second. Where are they in the second round?
They're pick 42, so it's pick 13 in the second.
All right. I think they'll get a guy that's pretty dynamic there. I think they'll get a receiver.
Yeah,
tight
I think
end.
you're right.
That's going to be fine.
They'll go offense there, and then they have pick 45 as well. So three picks and 4.
It does seem like there's a lot of receivers that are second round graded out. So you could get quality there.
You could. Tarek Saleh, you're gonna leave us. So give us your closing statement. Packers go Lucas Van Ness. Anything else stand out from you from what we've seen in the first round so far?
No, I mean, I think this, Will Levis dropping, I think is going to be interesting down the road.
That's your guy.
Yeah,
he might go here at 18 to the Lions. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. But if you're going to make a run, and that coach, I know is a passionate guy.
Dan Campbell, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to undercut Goff at this point.
Yeah, I go back and forth on that. And our usual coach during the football season, Derek Engler, he played with Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
And, I don't know.
He works so hard, and he's genuine. And he gets the buy-in, and he's got momentum. All of a sudden, you bring this in. You got this cloud. Now you're going to have Goff's going to have to be questioned every week. I think they have to go and bolster what they have and go forward, but I could be wrong. Tampa sounds like a perfect pick for Levis. I just think I'm a more pick guy. I'm all about trading down and getting more picks, and that's for the Packers. But right now, you take what you have, and I think there's at least between the 2 second round and third round, you get 2 wide receivers and a tight end, or you get a wide receiver, tight end, and a tackle.
Yeah.
You got to get an offensive lineman. I think right there. What do we think of? Is it Michael Tom? Is that Wake Forest kid that we got in the offensive line?
Zach Tom.
Zach Tom. So he had a pretty good year, right? Was he okay?
He was fine. I mean, it was a rookie year, right?
Yeah.
Like he lost some battles for sure.
But he seems like if you get another guy like that could be, dynamic, could play guard center. I don't know. I think it's gonna be hard to find a left tackle in this at that point, but. Maybe there's someone out. Maybe there's someone in there.
We will see.
They do their job.
We will see. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Zay Flowers, 2 wide receivers, 2 top wide receivers, according to Mel Kiper Jr., both still on the board. Will Levis, the quarterback from Kentucky, who likes mayonnaise in his coffee, is still on the board. Nolan Smith, the top-ranked defensive player, the outside linebacker from Georgia. I thought maybe that's where Goody was going to go because he loved the Georgia defense. Yeah. And then Dalton Kincaid, the tight end from Utah, the top 5 available for Mel Kiper Jr. Tarek. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. It's been a fun 3.5 hours.
Ton of fun.
We'll talk to you soon, I'm sure. Tarek Saleh going to leave us. Me and Brad Nortman will still hang out with you. We roll on right after this. More reaction from you. 844-770-3776. Coming up right after this on the Great Dane Huddle.
Reaction to the football weekend continues next. This is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
You can't miss a moment with Greeny.
This is royalty. Do I bow? What does one do when the king comes to town? He chose us. And now I know what it's like to be the beautiful cheerleader. I've never been the beautiful cheerleader. I've never been the beautiful anything. The prettiest cheerleader is always the one who winds up with the quarterback, right? Especially when the quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know how to feel, but I'm going to have a really good time finding out.
Greeny, weekdays noon to 2 on 100.5 ESPN.
Looking to make an impact in your community? Consider applying to become a mentor with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County currently serves nearly 500 children and has over 200 waiting to be matched with a mentor like you. No skills are required, just a desire to make a difference in the lives of children. Make a big impact. Volunteer today at bbbsmadison.org to complete your application. That's bbbsmadison.org. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County. Together, we are defenders of potential.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. reel in our first catch, and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly.
Get on board. Get on board.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Hi, this is Brian Posick, and I can't wait for Marco Siki's 5th annual Casting for Kids Fishing Tournament, Saturday, May 20th on the Madison Chain of Lakes to benefit the American Family Children's Hospital and the UW Carbone Cancer Center. Check in at the Alliant Energy Center at 7 a.m. Fishing starts at 8, happy hour at 2:30, then dinner and auction at 3:30. It's a great day for fishing and fundraising on Saturday, May 20th. Register now and check out the online auction at castingforkids.org. That's casting4kids.org.
Hey, this is Craig Karmazin, founder of Good Karma Brands. Join Kyle Wallace and me every Sunday morning from 10 to noon for Sunday Karma here on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
The Great Dane Huddle rolling out live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. I'm Alex Strouf alongside former Badger, former NFL punter, former draftee of the Carolina Panthers, my guy Norty, Brad Nortman with me. Tarek Saleh just took off. I don't know. It's probably past his bedtime, to be real honest with you. But good to have Tarek with us the last 3.5 hours. Good to have you with us the last 3.5 hours. Andrew in Madison has a question. Or a comment, maybe a little bit of both for you here on the text line.
Okay.
Andrew says, at Brad Nortman, we still have Joe Barry as our defensive coordinator. This defense will be middle of the road at best, and only so because they'll have 1 or 2 really good games against crap teams. Get rid of Joe, get rid of Goody, and maybe we'll finally get to 5 or 6 wins in 2024. Your response to Andrew is?
Wow, that's pessimistic.
It sure is.
I don't mistake the fact that Joe Barry still being the defensive coordinator is a surprise. I was talking last year on how that would be an easy move for LaFleur to be able to flex his coaching muscle and get someone in there that can really put a scheme together, that can put this group that is full of talent, right? We've talked about first-round talent across the board.
Totally.
To be able to get them above the level they should be. So I don't doubt that. I just believe there was a lot of toxicity. As good as Rodgers was, right? There was a lot of toxicity in the building because of that. Maybe this allows LaFleur to open up a little bit. Look, if we're going to stick with an analogy, this is like the group project that everybody just relied on the star pupil and then just like relaxed, right?
Sure.
But now the star pupil is gone. Everybody needs to raise their level of intensity, sense of urgency, and their ability to do it. That means LaFleur calling and the OC calling good game plans, putting love in their ability to succeed. I don't think that he's going to be as bad as everybody thinks he is. I don't think he's going to be great. I don't think he's going to be top 10, but I think he's going to be serviceable.
I think you're right, Brad. But my issue with Love isn't even with Love. It's with the offensive weapons he has around him, right? The lack thereof, you know. And again, this is not a knock on a guy like Christian Watson, who I think is going to be a really good NFL wide receiver. But can he be a true number one in year 2? Call me pessimistic, go ahead, but I just don't think so.
And I totally understand that, and I agree. I just think when you look at the teams that finish, 4 wins and worse, they're awful. Awful.
Yeah.
You circle them on the schedule. You're putting them at noon on Sundays, and the before the days of good Thursday night football, they were the terrible Thursday night football. I was on some of those teams that went 3-13, and they are terrible.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Packers are that bad. I'm not saying they're a playoff team. Do not get me wrong. I think a 500 season, I would take that today, given the roster and where I think we are in the rebuilding process. I just don't think 3-14. 4-13,
5-12.
It just doesn't. I don't think that's the case with this roster. I could be wrong. It's a competitive league.
I hope you're right,
but I don't think they're that far off.
I hope you're right. I don't feel that way though.
Because if that's the case, buckle up for about a 4-year rebuild. Forget about a 2-year rebuild. I mean, if you're a 3-14 team, you are not close, and I mean not close at all. And that is not something that you can just flip on and be way better. A playoff team the next year.
Yeah, you just got to change the punter, right?
Yeah, that's right. Change the punter, and you will be Super Bowl bound. The script is out there. The formula's there. What are you waiting on, Goody? What are you waiting on?
Amazing. Hunter Vaughn, our producer, back in the ESPN Madison studio. How you holding in there, Hunter? How we doing?
We're making it. A lot of caffeine. It's been a long 4 hours, but we're making it.
Yeah.
Hoping for the Cowboys to maybe get one of these wide receivers that have fallen.
So Cowboys are picking where, buddy?
26.
26 they've got. All right. Will we still be on the air when they pick?
Probably not, because that's how my luck works. Chance to really show that I know some football, my favorite team, talk about them on the air, and we'll end at 25.
Yeah, you're probably right. No, I'll tell you this. I'll promise you this, actually, Hunter. If we are at pick 25 when we're supposed to sign off, we'll stick through for you. That work?
Yes, until the hall monitor finds out.
No, I have permission to go as long as I want from the hall monitor. We're good.
Oh,
we're good. We're good in that front.
Okay.
So I kind of want to stick all the way through 31, but I kind of don't. I don't know. The reason I do want to stick through is because I think the Packers could trade up, but that could just be me wanting them to trade up because I want a wide receiver in the first round.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we get down into those mid-20s and there's still a couple of guys there that the Packers trade up.
Has a wide receiver has not been taken yet, right? Zay
Correct.
Flowers and Jackson Smith and Jigba are both still there.
That's
so,
correct.
and a tight end hasn't been picked either. But you know what would be very goody? Will Levis is still on the board.
Oh, no.
I don't think so.
That's a fireable offense. If you're gonna take that means you should have held on to Rodgers.
Jordan Love wasn't a fireable offense. I mean, I get it's different.
Yeah, given the circumstances, if you're handing the keys over to Love and you take a first-round quarterback, you should have just kept Rodgers for another couple of years and ran it back.
Here we go. We already have the number. Here we go. I'm gonna let you guess. Lucas Van Ness will wear what number for the Green Bay Packers, Brad?
I might have peeked at your phone.
Oh, did you? Okay,
90?
Hunter, do you know the answer?
I don't.
All right, I want you to guess then.
Okay, 12.
Oh, that's good.
That was good, Hunter. Not bad. No, that is incorrect, by the way. Nobody will ever wear that again for the Packers. Number 90, you're correct, Brad. You peaked.
I did. I cheated.
He will wear the B.J. Raji number. And if he's as good as B.J. Raji, who was a first-round pick for the Packers, we'll be happy. He scored a touchdown in an NFC Championship game that the Packers won. The last NFC Championship game that the Packers won. So we will see. Lucas Van Ness will wear number 90 for the Packers. Now, here's a fun little note for you. He wore 91 in college. Preston Smith currently wears number 91 for the Packers. Smith offered to sell number 91 to Lucas Van Ness already tonight. This already happened in the last few hours.
Wow.
And Van Ness went ahead and declined and said he will wear number 90 for the Packers. So that's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun little story for you.
Financially prudent right there, some might say.
Got to save that money.
Yeah,
That's right.
Rookie deal. You don't know how long. You never know how long you'll be in the league.
I will say, given all of the draft capital we've spent on the defense, this is going to sound obvious. It needs to be better. Like that is. I know we talk about all these different ways that we can help Jordan Love be comfortable on the offensive side of the ball, offensive line, weapons, all that. Great. He will be judged not only on what he does on the field, but winning. Right? Can we win football games?
Yeah.
And a defense, a great defense, gives them good field position. Maybe you only have to score 21 points as opposed to 30. That goes a long way. So, look, the microscope is on Jordan Love this year. Gosh, the microscope might be just as much on the defense.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I tend to agree. Will Levis, by the way, still on the board, which is absolutely wild to me. I don't know where he's going to go. He's sweating in the green room. He's the only guy left.
There's a lot of talk about Seattle drafting a guy and building him up.
But didn't they just re-sign Geno?
Yeah, but it's like a 3-year deal, kind of like 2 years, and then we'll see. Maybe they want to allow him to grow up in there, but that's just not common anymore. What we did with Jordan Love, that is not a common act to draft a guy first round and let him sit for so long.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm surprised that Tampa didn't take him. Who's Tampa's quarterback?
Right now?
Yeah, isn't that
that's a really good question,
Baker
Brad.
Mayfield.
Baker's there.
That's right.
Oh, are you confident in that? I don't know about that.
Baker
Real quick, Jack Campbell, who was drafted a bit earlier, I forget who drafted him now. Hunter, you may know off the top of your head. Lions, thank you. And Campbell is not listed as one of Mel Kiper's top 50 prospects in the sheet we have in front of us.
I was looking at the same thing. I was like, I must be missing something.
Yeah, he won the National Linebacker Award this past year in college football. But Kiper did not see that one coming, so I guess that's the spoiler of the draft so far.
That's a surprise. Maybe his game doesn't translate exactly to the NFL.
Maybe.
Is it a speed thing?
Maybe. But that's an interesting pick for the Lions. All right, John Schneider, former Packers executive, and the Seattle Seahawks pick is in at pick number 20 overall as we await the commissioner. I don't think they're going to go quarterback. I think they're very confident in Geno. I think they might go like wide out here. What the hell do I know?
Jigma? I mean,
Maybe Flowers.
They got Metcalf and Lockett. But it's an aging Lockett, though. It's an aging Lockett. They got a lot of weapons. Seattle's sneaky good.
Yeah, they are sneaky good.
Sneaky good.
But they're not going to go running back. There's not a really sexy running back pick, especially in the first round here.
And who did they take? They had a pick.
They had a corner. Right? They went with the
Witherspoon, yeah.
From Illinois.
And if they had a draft like they did last year, gosh, the guys they got last year were absolute studs.
They had a terrific. The Seahawks and the Jets won the draft last year.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, those were the two best teams, at least from a rookie standpoint. And the Packers will look to repeat that here in 2023. They're off to an interesting start. I will not say a bad nor good start. I like the pick. I think I was amongst a lot of the fan base that wanted them to go offense. They wanted to address the holes on the offensive side of the ball, right? I think interior offensive line, wide receiver, tight end are big holes on that offense. And when you have a brand new quarterback, making his debut as a starter essentially for the entire season, you want to give him the best opportunity to win football games. And I just don't think what the Packers have in place currently, a tight end, wide receiver, and interior offensive line, is setting Jordan Love up for success. And that scares me. I like this. That's no knock against him. I think he can be a good player on the defensive side of the ball. But we will see.
The thought is they had a high NS, and they've got a stable wide receivers, tight ends, like in round 2 and 3.
I hope you're right, man.
There's no way they don't take a tight end or wide receiver in round 2, right? I mean, there can't be. I guess maybe not.
I don't want to say there's no way, but I think it is very likely they go one of those directions in round 2. You have to address the need, right? Yeah. I agree with you on that. So we will see as there are 6 high school, it looks like players. I don't want to say because there's a softball jersey on the stage. Maybe it is football. I don't know. On the stage at the NFL draft alongside Roger Goodell as we await the Seahawks pick. We're going to go to break after the Seahawks take their pick here, but who is it going to be? As he lowers the microphone, the pick is in. The announcement is in, and the Seahawks have selected. I can't lip read. Oh, there goes Jackson Smith and Jigba. I was right about that. Seahawks go wide out. Smith and Jigba off the board. So there you go, Packers fans. JSN will not be a Green Bay Packer. I'm a little frustrated. It's a great day, and Huddle will continue right after this.
Reaction to the football weekend continues. This is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Major League Baseball on ESPN Radio.
A walk-off homer in the bottom of the 14th inning. What a night.
From opening day.
Hammer to left field. See you later. Mike Trout, how's that to start the season?
Until a champion is crowned at the World Series.
The Houston Astros have won the World Series.
Major League Baseball is on ESPN Radio.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of the Big Win and Madison Casino Guru, is transforming guests into winners. Making an ordinary day into a big win day is easy with a 95% average payout. And with over 140 daily jackpots, the number of people winning has never been bigger. So what are you waiting for? Escape to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison for your next big win.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Forward Madison FC has kicked off its 2023 season at Breeze Stevens Field. The Flamingos' next USL League One match is on Saturday, April 29th at 5 p.m. against Charlotte Independence. April 29th is also Star Wars night at Breeze Stevens Field, complete with a lightsaber ticket package and even a costume contest at halftime. To purchase tickets, head to forwardmadisonfc.com. Forward Madison, fun for all.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm Vice President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
I got the magic in me. Every time I touch that track, it turns into gold. Everybody knows I got the magic in me.
The great Dane Huddle, I lied. Now Will Levis is the last guy in the green room as Jackson Smith and Jigba gets drafted. No, I take that back. Zay Flowers is still in the green room. We've got two guys left.
That's right.
Zay Flowers. Is Nolan Smith there? Because he hasn't been drafted yet either.
Correct.
So maybe there's a couple guys left in the green room. They just keep showing Will Levis.
If you were a first-round draft pick, projected first-round draft pick,
yeah,
would you go to the draft?
I don't think I would.
You wouldn't.
I don't know that I would.
Nope.
I say that. Yeah, I would go.
Yeah, I think I would.
I love attention, Brad. What are we talking about here? It's the great Dane Huddle. I'm Alex Strouf, the attention lover. He's Norty, Brad Nortman, as Mark Tauscher called him. Would you?
I think I'd go.
So you went to Brookfield Central High School.
Yes.
Same high school as?
Joe Thomas.
Who?
Second most popular NFL player.
Exactly. In media also.
Yeah, of course.
Who did not attend the draft?
He
went
didn't.
fishing instead. And they brought a cameraman on the boat, which is the best part.
And that was brilliant. And that's so Joe, right? I mean, that's just so Joe. What a great way to enter the league and have a really memorable experience. That's very cool.
It's really neat. Yeah, I love that too. I remember that. That's like one of my first NFL draft memories is Joe Thomas being on a boat.
That's a cool memory.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very cool memory.
Yeah. But nonetheless, I wonder when Will Levis is smiling, and the Chargers are on the clock. Why would the Chargers pick Will Levis? They've
Chargers,
Justin Herbert.
then Ravens. So
neither of those make sense. Minnesota doesn't really make sense either.
Well,
it makes more sense than Baltimore or Los Angeles. Yes.
Yeah, but what do you think about them drafting a guy thinking beyond Kirk Cousins?
The only team on the clock, or excuse me, left on the board that makes any sense to me is pick number 29, New Orleans, who just signed Derek Carr.
Minnesota, maybe? Sit him
That's
for
what
a
I
couple
think.
years?
If he doesn't
that's what we were
Minnesota,
just saying. The only other one in Minnesota.
If he doesn't do Minnesota, he's dropping out. Unless
he's going to the second round. Yeah, I tend to agree. Unless somebody, Lamar Jackson style, like Baltimore did, trades up.
Yes.
Which I wouldn't rule out at the end of the draft tonight. We'll see what the Chargers do here at 21. Your way into the show, if you want to get in, 844-770-3776. We're reacting to Lucas Van Ness, being drafted from Iowa, the defensive end, 6'5", 275, no big deal, to the Green Bay Packers. It's a fun addition. I'm not overreacting, underreacting. I think it's a good pick. Another wide receiver goes off the board to the Los Angeles Chargers, Quentin Johnston from TCU. You remember seeing him in the national championship game. He had a really good year from TCU, so that's a good pick. Now, that's interesting because Zay Flowers from Boston College, who has been kind of renowned as either the number 1 or number 2 receiver in the draft, either ahead of or behind Jackson Smith and Jigba, who just went before, he's still on the board. So I imagine if we go on a little bit of a run of wide receivers here with Baltimore, who just extended Lamar Jackson earlier today to a 5-year extension, could they go wide receiver here at 22 with Zay Flowers? I think that would make a ton of sense.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, there is a certain amount of wide receivers that are available that I think that the teams realize that they're an amazing catch right there from Johnson.
He had a few of those this year.
Yeah, where they realize their importance, right? And you look at a team like the Chargers. You've got aging wide receivers, particularly in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and you need a guy in there that can continue to supplement it. And you've already got an elite receiver, and he's just going to get even better with more options. So, I mean, look, I don't know what the Chargers' other needs are, but you can never have too many good wide receivers in a room.
Can you say that exact same line but address it to Brian Gutekunst this time?
Brian Gutekunst, you can't have too many good wide receivers in one room. Listen, and maybe he thinks that they already do. I don't know.
Correct.
I'm a little concerned that when they get to round 2, there's not going to be many guys left.
No, I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of obviously wide receivers.
Jordan
in the
Addison,
draft.
guys that can make a difference this year.
Yeah, and I saw somebody texted in a bit before that they thought maybe Addison would be the guy in the second round. And I tend to agree with that. I would like that pick. And I mentioned the name Sam Laporta, the Iowa tight end, who I think could be there in the second round. Now, I'm looking forward to 2 things in the draft, right? Number 1, of course, is if the Packers trade up to one of those final picks in the round, which I don't think will happen. But, of course, something I'm watching. And the other one is, will the Badger be drafted, right?
Yes.
Keanu Benton and Joe Tippmann, the center, of course, both could be late first round, second round, and if not, they'll be early picks tomorrow in the second round. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on here the rest of the night.
Yeah, it's exciting to root for Wisconsin guys. Particularly as you got to know them and have them, for instance, have guy like Keanu Benton all year on Rutledge and Hamilton.
Right.
And just get to know the realness of these guys. And then I know that college football and pro football has merged a little bit with NIL and guys getting paid and that kind of stuff. However, there just really is nothing like stepping foot into the professional realm. It is a dream come true, and it's amazing to see these guys do it. You saw with C.J. Stroud, it looked like he was holding back tears as he was walking to the stage.
Totally.
It's a culmination of a lot of things, and, I mean, Wisconsin guys, how easy are they to root for? And even on opposing teams, you want to see them do well. So I'm rooting for those guys to go to great situations where they can flourish, and I have no doubt that they will.
Yeah, I just really hope Keanu, who, as you mentioned, I got to know quite a bit through his work with us on Rutledge and Hamilton. We had him on 12 weeks straight, which, if you do the math, it's over, 3 hours of conversations with Keanu over the course of the football season this past year, which was an interesting one, obviously, for the Badgers as Paul Chryst was fired mid-season. The one team I hope he doesn't go to is the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Because then Rutledge is going to rub it in our face nonstop.
That's
that A. But
fair.
B, like Jack Sanborn's already there, so we already have one Badger in Chicago who is probably going to wreak havoc on us the next couple of years, us being the Packers, of course. So we will see. He's the great Brad Nortman. I'm Alex Strouf. It is a special draft edition of the Great Dane Huddle here from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company. Still a good crowd in the house as the $10 pitcher still going at the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company. Good time. You can see Jesse Nelson if you're watching us on the video stream in the background. Jesse Nelson lost his voice, which I'd like to address. How'd you do that? I want you to yell. Oh, that's right, you can't. I forgot about that part.
Walked right into that
Yeah,
one.
he sure did. He sure did. All right. Keep drinking back there, Jesse. Attaboy. As $10 pitchers, he's taking advantage. Will Jesse Nelson call out of work tomorrow? That's our poll. I'm just kidding.
That is correct.
I think, Hunter, you might as well sleep at the studio tonight because I bet he'll be calling you to fill in on Wilde and Tausch tomorrow.
Yeah, I've already just assumed that I'm going to be coming in tomorrow morning.
Did you put up the cot I leave there for myself?
No, my car's pretty comfortable. I'm in the parking garage there. It's nice and safe. I'll be good there.
Yeah, all right. Well, just let everybody know where you'll be. That's good. Any comments on Lucas Van Ness, the rest of the draft? Maybe your draft crush going forward, your best available, who you'd like to see wind up on the Packers or whoever your team is. Would love to hear from you as we get ready to wrap up our coverage. 844-770-3776. Your way into the Great Dane Huddle. Any questions for Brad, a guy that's been drafted, a guy that's played, had a really nice tenure in the NFL for two teams in Carolina and Jacksonville, played in the Super Bowl, played in both the AFC and NFC championship games. Not a lot of people could say that, Brad. That's a cool part about your NFL career, is you played in both the championship games. Now, it would have been nice to win both of them, but you won one of them.
Yeah, won one. That was pretty cool. I think I went back and calculated that I played on every possible NFL forum, right? So Thursday night, Sunday at noon, 3:30, Sunday night, Monday night, London, NFC Championship game, AFC Championship game, Super Bowl, of course, but then Wild Card weekend and Divisional weekend and on the road and at home.
Well, I think it is kind of dope.
That is kind of dope, Ron Dane. Did you ever play on like a Christmas Saturday or anything like that?
Played on Christmas Eve. I'm playing on Thanksgiving. So
you did play on Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
okay,
played against Dallas, against the fighting Hunter Vaughns.
Did you win?
Yes, we did.
Nice.
I don't want to remember that game.
Yeah, we killed them, and I think we broke. I say this.
You were part of the team. You were
broke Tony Romo's collarbone. I think that sent him to retirement. Basically.
Yeah, Luke Kuechly did.
Yeah,
maybe you shouldn't have said we.
Yeah, I was going to say I had no part in breaking of that bone.
Yeah, you didn't. Right about that.
So yeah, and played on Christmas Eve 1 year at home, which was a lot of fun. Played on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
Wow,
so, lots of action.
Yeah, you had a cool career, man.
Yeah, it was fun. Fun to punt the old football around in a bunch of different stages.
You were punting me the football at the launch, our tailgate on Saturday before the launch of Wisconsin Badgers football. That was good.
And you colored yourself as not so much of an athlete. You were catching them. I can't wait till we get on an open field.
I'm an athlete. What are you talking about?
I know it.
When have I ever sold myself otherwise? What are you talking about?
You said your only sporting thing was playing soccer as a joke in high school.
That's true.
So I had
ran cross country too. Thank you very much.
I have these low expectations. You and me this summer, we're going to go on a football field. I'm going to hit you a high hanger, and you're going to go below.
And I'm going to break my collarbone like Tony Romo.
I would have participated in that. Then. I would feel guilty because of that, as opposed to Luke Kuechly doing.
Oh, you're the man. We'll wrap up our coverage right after this with the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company.
Reaction to the football weekend continues next. This is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
A wide array of opportunities abound at Waste Management.
They do whatever they can to make sure that you're set up for success, both within the career and just in your personal life as well. The benefits that are offered here are honestly some of the most insane benefits that I've ever seen. They're paying for people to go to college. They invest in the employees as human beings. I've never seen anything like that.
Join the Waste Management family. Just search online, Waste Management Careers.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you. Donate at V.org, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Looking to make an impact in your community? Consider applying to become a mentor with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County currently serves nearly 500 children and has over 200 waiting to be matched with a mentor like you. No skills are required, just a desire to make a difference in the lives of children. Make a big impact. Volunteer today at bbbsmadison.org to complete your application. That's bbbsmadison.org. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County. Together, we are defenders of potential.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly.
Get on board. Get on board.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You're listening to Madison's home for Milwaukee Bucks basketball.
Giannis going downhill. Giannis with a burst of speed and power all mixed together.
100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
As the great American orator DJ Khaled once said, another one. As another wide receiver goes off the board at number 22, the Baltimore Ravens select Zay Flowers from Boston College, which makes that now 3 wide receivers in the first round of the draft, and I think 3 in the last 4 picks, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, excuse me, 4 wide receivers, 3 in the last 4 picks overall in the draft here in the first round. So that's the 4th wide receiver to go, Zay Flowers. Of Boston College goes to the Ravens at 22. Now the Minnesota Vikings, the last NFC North team of the night to make a selection, is on the clock as we wrap up our coverage here on the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. They're still open, which means you can still get $10 pitchers. That's a heck of a deal. Usually $16 here at the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company in Fitchburg. So if you're close, hurry on in. Come watch the end of the NFL draft here at a great place, and make sure you tip your bartenders. I'm Alex Strouf alongside the great Brad Nortman. And Brad, you called me unathletic in the last segment. I would just like to let the record show I just kicked your ass in shuffleboard 5-0 in the commercial break.
Have you ever seen the movie White Men Can't Jump?
I have.
Okay, so Woody Harrelson's character where he hustles people?
Yes.
Right?
That's
how I just feel over the courses. You say that we walked over there and you said they're playing shuffleboard. I've never played before.
I haven't. That's real. I'm not hustling.
And you are placing those, what are they, pucks?
I don't. Maybe. Yeah, pucks.
Like,
I think it's fine.
I mean, the guys, the second last push, he not only hit mine right off, perfectly nudged his second one right into the 4 score. And I got to say, I love shuffleboard. I would put shuffleboard up there as one of the top bar games of all the bar games. Right?
Not over darts, right?
I think it's in the conversation.
Really?
I do. I love shuffleboard.
That's a hot take.
I love it. I love it. I mean,
you
can hold the board with it. It takes a little bit of finesse and a little bit of, strategy. I love it. And you kicked my butt.
I did. Indeed. I did.
I feel like we're going to go out there when we finally do punt together for real. You're going to be catching balls back there like Devin Hester.
Yeah, well, I've been comparing. No, I'm kidding. No, I will break my collarbone, like I said in the last segment, but we could certainly give it a try. Brad, as we see all these guys, obviously, living through their dream, right? And you got to do that back in 2012 when you were drafted by the Carolina Panthers in the 6th round of the NFL draft. It's pretty neat to see, the lifelong dream come to realization.
It really is. When I got drafted, I told the story earlier in the show about receiving the call, and then being drafted, it turned into basically a party. We went to a local bar restaurant in Elm Grove that we went to quite a bit, and just said, hey, anyone wants to meet over there? Come over there and celebrate. And it was packed. It was a ton of fun. And it was a whirlwind. And you wake up the next morning, and there's very much a pinch me feeling. Like, did that really just happen? And do I need to now make plans to go down to, Carolina to go be a Panther. It's something you can't really put into words, and it's an immediate joy and blessing, and like pinch me, I can't believe this is happening. That's the Sunday, and then you show up whenever you do at the facility, and then it's incredibly humbling, right? Because you were like, I'm the low man on the totem pole. These dudes are professionals, and I have a long way to go. So it's a whirlwind. It's a whirlwind of emotions for these guys.
No doubt about it. And, your story was cool. And Tarek Saleh, who was here with us earlier, the all-time sacks leader at UW, and obviously had a nice NFL career himself. Started on the defensive side of the ball. Then when he left Carolina, also drafted by Carolina, went to Cleveland, flipped over to the offensive side of the ball to play fullback in the 90s and into the early 2000s. Cool stories, man. It's obviously, as we talk about, I am unathletic. I never got to achieve my dream of being a professional football player. And so it's just cool to hear your guys' stories, but and see all these guys walk across the stage, as you alluded to a bit earlier. Right, guys like Anthony Richardson, who's bawling and gives a great big hug to the commissioner, Roger Goodell. And you can see Roger saying, congratulations, and all the hard work paid off. It's just really neat. And, we'll see several more guys get to, see that dream come to real life over the course of the next 2 days, as rounds 2 and 3 tomorrow and rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday. And the Packers have plenty of more picks scheduled. Will they move up here is the question, as they have picks 42 and 45 in the second round tomorrow. If it was up to me, I would say stand pat, right? Stay put.
Yes.
You can. 2 picks and 4 overall, right? You can really make some moves. If Jordan Addison, who's now shown up on Mel Kiper's best available, the wide receiver from USC, if he falls to 42, no brainer. Dalton Kincaid, who ranks number 3 in Mel Kiper's best available, a tight end from Utah, the top-ranked tight end in this draft, falls to 42. Or even falls to 40, trade up just a couple picks, get rid of 42 and then maybe a pick in the 6th round. You could really spice up that offense and help out your brand-new starting quarterback, Jordan Love, quite a bit. Because as we've talked about, that's been a theme of tonight's show, Brad, is there's not a lot of really sexy options on the Packers offense right now, right? Christian Watson, the second round pick from a year ago, had a really nice rookie year. But he's just not a real number 1 receiver in the NFL right now. And he's going to have to be, obviously. But if you can bring in another rookie, top-end guy who can help him out, be a number 2, number 3, learn from him in Watson and Romeo Doubs, and hopefully in a couple of years become a stud number 2 option, that's best-case scenario.
Yeah, it is, and there's a long way to go to fill those gaps for the Packers. And you're right at this point. I would say not advisable to trade up. You have to have a lot of conviction to trade up to go get somebody like Jackson Smith and Jigba or Zay Flowers, some of these guys that already went. Usually in the NFL draft, there's a certain sense of, picks 10, 15, 20. There's sort of a agreed elite echelon, right? But then there tends to be a falling off, right? Early round 1 and end of round 1, not all created equal. So, wow, Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison stays in the NFC North. He's just not a Packer. He goes to the Minnesota Vikings, adds some juice to their offense. Oh, boy. So the Vikings not liking the narrative that they were the worst 13-win team in history a year ago as they add another wide receiver to that offense. They lose Adam Thielen this offseason, too. The Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
And Jordan Addison now goes to Minnesota alongside Justin Jefferson. So Jordan Addison coming to the NFC North.
That is a strong 1-2 punch between Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
Wow.
Boy, that run on wide receivers that we just witnessed, that was something.
Hey,
they're grabbing him.
Brad, look who's on the clock.
My Jacksonville Jaguars. It's too bad we don't have Colin Russo on the phone.
It's
right
true.
Now.
He's
in Italy somewhere.
It's
probably
Italy.
drinking.
It's almost 4 a.m. in Italy.
Wow.
We could try to give him a call. I just don't think he's awake.
Is he up right now?
No, I don't think so.
I'll give him a call.
Go for it. Truthfully, give him a call. See what happens.
I'll effort Colin Russo.
Yeah, we have less than 2 minutes left on the program, but let's effort Colin Russo.
Be a miracle.
Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. Oh, and they just traded the pick. So never mind. You can go ahead and hang up the phone, Hunter. As the New York Giants. I was really hoping that said the Packers.
Oh.
The New York Giants just move up 1 pick, which is interesting. They have pick 25.
That is.
They move up to 24. So we will see what that is. Actually, we probably won't because we got about 90 seconds left in the program. So that gives me the time to say some thank yous. A big thank you to Tarek Saleh, who was on site with us for the first 3 hours of the program, coming out to the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company here in Fitchburg. A big thank you to Jason Wilde and the Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher, who joined us throughout the program tonight. A big thanks to Ryan Wollersheim, our video producer back in the ESPN Madison studios, Hunter Vaughn, our audio producer and engineer back in the ESPN Madison studios, for hanging out with us tonight. It's been a fun program, man. The Packers select once again at pick number 13, which they moved up from earlier this week in the pick swap in the trade for Aaron Rodgers with the New York Jets. They move up to pick number 13. They draft a defensive end out of Iowa, Lucas Van Ness, what I think is a good pick. But we will see. It's not the sexy pick that maybe some of us expected on the offensive side of the ball to help maybe alleviate the inexperience of Jordan Love on the field. But it's a good pick. Ultimately, I would say I hate draft grades, and I don't have enough time to go on a big rant because we have 30 seconds. But I would give it like a B minus.
Yeah, I think it's above average. It's not splashy. It's not an A, but somewhere in that B range. That seems fair to me.
I'll give it to it.
Yeah.
Brad Nortman, we'll talk to you on Monday, buddy. We appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me for the last 4 hours. It's been fun, and Jacksonville coming up after New York at number 25, so we'll see what they do.
Strouf, I would watch Roger Goodell read names any day with you.
I would. That's so sweet. This has been the Great Dane Huddle Draft Edition. Big thanks to the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company here in Fitchburg for hosting.
My eye doctor gives me a lot of great advice, but the best piece of advice she ever gave me was where to go for